Hey wrestling fans, this is Rick Blade telling you to tune in with BJ, DG, best wrestling talk on YouTube.
Welcome back, everybody. BJ here, DG there.
What's going on, everybody? Some sad news in the wrestling world, which, it feels like the last couple weeks between injuries to other wrestlers and stuff like that. This is the type of stuff we've been kicking off with, Rest in peace to the immortal Hulk Hogan. And it has been said practically everywhere, Hulkamania will live forever, whether you were a fan of the man or not, which most people know where I stand when it comes to Hulk Hogan. And I've always separated the person from the competitor we got to see. Tara, how you doing? So today we will be kicking off the show talking about some of the best moments from Hulk Hogan himself, whether you knew him as Hulkamania Hogan in the 80s and into the 90s, or as Hollywood Hogan from there on, or even the version of him from TNA Wrestling. We do have a couple guests, which I'll bring on at the same time. One you do know, who he has been on the show before, and we have promoted his channel here. Wyatt Wrestling, how you doing?
You're muted.
Oh, hold on, I got you.
What's up, guys?
What's going on, man?
And then also joining us, who is also a member that when Wyatt Wrestling does his live streams, Kelton.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good.
So to kick off, Hulk Hogan passing away this week. Among others of notable in the wrestling world, Roddy Hogan, who was a huge Hulk Hogan cosplayer. Very big, especially when it came to Juggalo Championship Wrestling and stuff like that. And then also Ozzy Osbourne. But we're going to start off talking about the Hall of Famer himself. And there goes Tara talking about Roddy. Which one of you guys would like to start talking about your favorite Hogan moments?
Kelton, you can go first, man.
Huh?
You go first.
Wait, hold on. Okay, what you saying?
Favorite Hogan moments, and looks like you've been volunteered to be the first to go. So,
Because I didn't hear y'all at first. My favorite wrestling moment was when he faced The Rock at WrestleMania 18. It was kind of like an old generation versus the new generation. And like, since I'm 14 years old now, I wasn't like able to see Hogan wrestling like the 90s and 80s. But when I had got older, I had started watching him like wrestling in the 90s and 80s, and that's how I became a Hogan fan. And ever since on, I just liked it every time he appeared.
all right.
That's amazing that his legacy, you're more than 30 years younger than me, and one of my very first wrestling moments was Hogan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just his legacy stretched that long.
It's really funny, too, because we don't have Chef the Rep here today. He's doing other things out in the world and wasn't able to join us. But Chef the Rep was actually at WrestleMania 18 in Toronto and got to see that match live.
That's good.
I remember seeing that match, watching it on pay-per-view. And it was a great moment to see probably the two biggest names at the time, at least across media, when it comes to pop culture. Because Stone Cold wasn't necessarily doing the movies and stuff like that at the time, but The Rock was doing TV appearances. Hogan had already been in how many movies and how many TV shows before that?
Not that any of them were very good.
I mean, some of them. I mean, hey, Suburban Commando will always hold a special place in my heart. All right, and then Rocky III with Hogan as well.
Yes, that was quality.
No Holds Barred.
That was also quality. But then, Santa with muscles.
Yeah. Wyatt, How about you go next and give us some of your favorite Hogan moments?
Oh man, my favorite moment with Hulk Hogan is when at WrestleMania 3 when he slammed Andre the Giant. That was a greatest moment. That was where it got me into the professional wrestling. That's the first pay per view I've watched when I never knew about Hulk Hogan. Then I watched it, and then I got into Hulk Hogan. Um, but rest in peace, brother. And that is one of my favorite moments.
That is an iconic moment just in pro wrestling, WrestleMania 3, which I don't even think I watched that live when it happens. I want to say maybe I was 3 years old at the time, so even if I did, I wouldn't remember. But
The
that's
Mania I saw live was 4, but that was because one of the first things I saw was 3.
yeah.
You know,
I mean, that whole entire WrestleMania 3 card was a pretty epic card, and that was the moment probably of that pay per view. But a lot of people will remember WrestleMania for Steamboat and Savage.
Now I'm gonna just say this. I wonder, like, if Hogan. I wish Hogan was champion when Jim Duggan, however you say his name, when he had first had won the Royal Rumble. Then I would have had loved to see them two share some chemistry in the ring, because as me growing up, I didn't get to see them fight, and I don't know if they never fought before. So
Uh,
probably
oh
never.
yeah, yeah. They had a couple, especially in the '80s crossovers. Now also I'd like to welcome to the show, as some of you guys will know, another person's content we do promote is Buzzing with Marlo. Oh, I clicked on them and lost them. Oh, we're
What is
well,
that?
you know.
we lost Wyatt too.
Yeah, there's.
There he is.
Uh,
Hey, how's it going,
Hey,
guys?
hi,
Wyatt say he got to
thank,
head out for.
uh,
He got to head out.
yeah. Thank you for joining us. We were just in the middle of our Hulk Hogan conversation. Just real
Uh,
quick before we get into that, I saw some clips of your stuff from your, I guess, your most recent interview and stuff. Great stuff, by
mhm.
the way.
I
Everybody,
appreciate it, man.
please go subscribe, check it out. Um, so for you, what was some of your favorite moments in the career of Hulk Hogan?
Well, as you can tell from the hat, I mean, obviously WrestleMania 18, Rock versus Hogan. Literally the first time you could ever really say if Michael Jordan versus LeBron James ever happened in a pro wrestling ring. Um, I think obviously like how 90s babies are, we didn't get to grow up and literally get to watch the the grand scheme of what Hulk Hogan was, but we knew who he was just because nobody would not remind you of who Hulk Hogan was. The red and yellow, the brother, the hand gesture, the flexing, everything. Like it was a big foundation of what pro wrestling was. Um, Me getting into the world of pro wrestling, it was a big factor of what the American Prodigy was. It's just, it was really the first time wrestling without having the red, white, and blue covered on a man was a true an American character, a true American man. Hogan meant everything, like superhero wise. Never had a flaw on him. Never, you never would second guess anything this man did in that era because it was just you didn't see it much on TV. So I think when we talk about what Hogan contribute with wrestling, the way it is now. I think it is now where Hogan idolized so much of a one style wrestling, which it could still work, and I feel like it's it's definitely a big amazing moment to see like where the growth of pro wrestling is, but it wouldn't be there if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan.
Oh, I absolutely agree with that. me and BJ, we're 80s babies. So we kind of grew up with whether you're a wrestling fan or not in the 80s. If it was one name you knew, one of the names you knew from pro wrestling, it was Hulk Hogan. And you knew Macho Man from like the Slim Jim commercials and stuff like that as well.
Well, I mean,
Maybe
if you be
Hexball.
honest, like with the '90s standpoint, no one really knew who Man was until you watched the WCW days or when he debuted on the Spider-Man film. Like, there's just different ways that was
Yes.
introduced to superstars and stuff like that. Like I say with Michael Jordan, I didn't get to grow up and watch Michael Jordan physically on TV. I saw him through Space Jam. I saw him through different things that go, hey man, I want to take a look back and go see how good this player really was. Obviously, my version of Michael Jordan wasn't the greatest because I saw him play for the Washington Wizards. So it was like, it's like you got different introductions to
we
these characters.
we don't talk about those dark ages when it comes to the GOAT.
Well, I'm just saying, like, in a way, that is how you know an
Yes.
impact of a superstar of something. Like, we
Um,
literally lost what we call the Babe Ruth of pro wrestling. Like,
Right.
Hulk Hogan is pro wrestling. If he's
Right.
not in your Mount Rushmore, I don't call you a wrestling fan because what he has done as a foundationing standpoint for pro wrestling to be a TV show, be on countless networks. Like we got AEW, we've got independent wrestling on a big platform and stuff like that. So it's like you cannot not say Hogan didn't contribute in any possible way
no,
to
I
what we
absolutely.
have got.
Now, anybody who's watched this show or just knows me in general as a wrestling fan, I grew up in the Hulk Hogan era, but I was never a Hulk Hogan fan.
Mm-hmm.
I always sided with Bobby Heenan when it came to that because I was always more of the fan of the heels and stuff like that, and I still am to this day. But
Okay.
but I agree with you 100% when it comes to Hogan that Hogan brought wrestling into pop culture in a completely different way than what wrestling was at the time.
Right.
Hell,
Yep.
WrestleMania got its start because of Hulk Hogan. That's how Vince. Oh, okay, we got Hulkamania, which started in the AWA, well before he touched WWF
Mm-hmm.
at the time. A lot of people forget that as well, and it's like, oh, Hulkamania was a Vince McMahon invention. No, Vince didn't invent Hulkamania. Vince just turned it up from 7 to 15 and was like, all right, let's run with this. Let's see where it goes. And
Right.
into the impact as well as with The Rock, which was in The Rock show. And he's even told the story of getting the last headband that Hogan had and having to give it back to him. And Hogan later on giving his father, Rocky Johnson, a bunch of merch to give him and everything just because he did that. And then to go on, 15, 16 years later and have a match with him at WrestleMania. That wasn't even the main event of the show that it should have been because it was Rock and Hogan. Not to say Triple H and Jericho was a bad main event or it was Jazz and Trish Stratus in the in-between match to cool off before that main event. It's that's just a hard act to follow when you take your two biggest names and throw them before the main event.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And just so many moments. Hogan revolutionized wrestling going into the 80s, and then coming out of the 80s into the 90s. And then you get that period of a die down, where WWF was pretty much in the early 90s, the smaller guys, and a lot of gimmicks. A lot of stuff that was really hit or miss. And Hogan's gone at the time. He's in WCW. And the fans kind of start to turn on him a little bit because it wasn't fitting what the culture was. And then we got the NWO. We got Hollywood Hogan, which again revolutionized pro wrestling into a whole new era and gave it another push of adrenaline.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if you think it too, it rebirthed WCW because WCW was failing hard before the NWO started.
I
Because
think that
like,
if the we can go.
go ahead,
huh?
Calvin.
If what I was saying was if NWO was never created and the Monday Night Wars never happened, we would not have SmackDown today. That's what I believe.
SmackDown was kind of always in the thought, but that was because WCW did Thunder.
Yeah.
And they started a second show. So Vince was like, well, if they're doing a second show, then we have to. We just have to put it on a different night. So we're not going head to head with them twice in the same week.
That's what no, that's just my opinion. That's what I was saying. So like as me growing up, like I just loved the Monday Night Wars. Even if I didn't get to watch it, but when I had kind of had went back and watching it, because the first ever wrestling thing that I watched was the 2016 Women's Elimination Chamber. So then when I kind of had seen the women, and then I had went to the men's side, and it kind of then I had seen Hulk Hogan. I was like, and they were saying how much he did for the company. So I decided to go back and see like what things he had done, and ever since, and that was in 2012, I believe. I was around 3 or 4.
I mean, in all honesty, like some of my first wrestling memories do involve Hulk Hogan. And that's just because he was the guy. As you know, like his battles with the Iron Sheik, whether they got along in real life or not, they had some battles. You know,
I mean, he made Sheik. I mean, if you think about it, he made Iron Sheik into a main event caliber superstar. Like we talk about, and I know a lot of people want to sit there and say, "Oh, he dragged Roddy Piper. He dragged him." No, he wanted them. The biggest thing is what they looked at it as. Is like I think this is how wrestling fans look at wrestling now. Oh, they're losing. What's the point? That's buried. That you destroyed them type scenario. And the thing was, Roddy Piper looked at it as like, yeah, I'm not putting Hogan over, but if he would have, Roddy Piper would have had a title at least 3 times, in my opinion. You like different continuous things that build the feuds out to get the next villain, to get the next certain things. And I feel like that's why Hogan's run was so dynamic. And that's why a babyface had the title for so long, is because it's just a gritty wrestling company that a lot of people really took that way more seriously than they needed to at the time. Because if they would have followed through, went more into a TV show basis standpoint, I feel like you would got Roddy Piper, 3-time WWF champ. You would had Yokozuna. You would had different options. And I mean, and it's sad to say because Roddy Piper is probably one of the greatest villains that's ever been in pro wrestling.
But when it came to Roddy Piper wasn't exactly the greatest technician in the ring, but he's one of the greatest talkers. So as a heel, he was a perfect foil to Hogan and somebody for Hogan to conquer because he could out-talk Hogan. He could out-dip Hogan. And there's a lot of people that forget in the AWA days, Hogan could legitimately wrestle. Hulk Hogan was the first ever New Japan Pro Wrestling World Champion.
Put New Japan on the map.
Yeah.
And that's why I get irritated. Like, obviously, I didn't really know the backstory of Hogan until I got into legitimately in the world of professional wrestling. And people would tell me, like, hey, man, check out New Japan, check out these different things, check out, you know, some of the talents that I looked at and watched them over there and see how different that was and see where it got them. Hogan, I'm sorry. People that tell me that Hogan can't move or have a moveset, you don't know pro wrestling. I'm serious. Like, one thing I've learned in wrestling school, if you're not going slow, you're not doing it right. And I like those are the different things that so many people have a very false outlook of how pro wrestling is drawn out.
I actually just started in wrestling school in the past month. So, and those are things that we've been told and everything, you know. And on top of that, it's like a lot of people don't realize, especially when you get to the main event level, if you only have 12 minutes, all right, what can we fit in? It's looking at somebody, and these are names that nobody would put together. Maybe not all of them. Hogan, The Warrior, who they also had a fantastic WrestleMania match. The Rock, Austin, people like that. Guess what? John Cena. Know what they all have in common? That when it comes down to it, they have something that got coined during the John Cena era as being the 5 moves of doom.
Yep.
Because those are their 5 biggest moves that get the biggest pops from the crowd. So they work toward them to
Yeah.
pop the crowd, and they worked.
It wasn't. I don't really necessarily say it was the five moves of doom. It's the fact that fans could get behind the move, and that's something that people really have a trouble understand what wrestling is. We wonder why the John Cena's, the Randy Ortons, the Dave Batistas, and all of them got over is because you could get excited about a spine buster. You could get excited about the power slam. That little DDT that Orton does between the ropes thing. People used to hate it because it looked absolutely crucifying when he was a bad guy. And now it's like, oh my gosh, we have to have that every match. It's those things, and I feel like those are the same things that people are buying a ticket to go see these because they want to see that move. It's a must-have in that move now, and it's like those are the ones that you really realize, and I really tell people all the time, you need to watch the guys that have limited move sets because it's the timing that brings into it. And I even said it on my last podcast with my good friend AJ Harrison. We talked about what is the art of a babyface getting over in a pro wrestling match. How do you get the audience behind them? It's because you're fighting under. The story of the match is how you are finally going to make this audience believe in you to win the match. You should not be going in the match where the fans are just like, oh, he's about to obliterate this person. No, it's the fact that the baby face is the heel's job is to understand, yeah, I'm fighting to win. I don't care what I got to do. I'm coming out to win the match. The baby face's point of view is I can fight fairly, but I've got to find that leverage to get me to get that spot. And that's the part that people lose when they talk about the art of pro wrestling. And I feel like that's something that really still needs to be taught upon, not only in training schools, but also if these fans feel like they know everything, really research that part because that's where a big missing part is in this sport.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
DJ, well, we haven't heard from you yet. What about your favorite or top Hulk Hogan moments?
Uh, aside from the match with Andre WrestleMania 3, number one definitely going to have to be him being revealed as the third man. Without a doubt, third man, number one moment. I was very, very fond of the Mega Powers, especially the Mega Powers versus Mega Bucks, and that whole build up and resolution and everything. Um, everything with Macho Man, everything with Warrior. I mean, there was so much. I was a Hogan fan in the '80s and early '90s, but I guess kind of a year or two after, I kind of grew up and started to view the world in a little bit more cynical of a fashion. Hogan turns heel and starts a whole new wrestling revolution. And all of a sudden, wrestling is huge again and it's relevant. And, it was just an amazing boom period for wrestling. Both of them were. And, I didn't see much of his TNA stuff. And by that point, I was kind of in the know about who he was and everything like that. So I didn't really pay much attention to him. But as a kid, I mean, as an adolescent and a teenager, he really just brought wrestling back to the mainstream. And yeah,
I mean, if there's any, you nailed one of my moments, which is him being revealed as the third man. And I talk about that anytime that comes up. Bash at the Beach '96. I will always talk about the things that people are kind of 50-50 on because I am such a huge Bobby Heenan mark
right.
that Bobby Heenan spoiled the turn. No, because if you pay attention to Bobby Heenan through his entire career, he always said Hogan had that dark side in him, and that stuck with his character saying, "Oh, is Hogan coming out? Is he the third man?" He was asking the question that was on all our minds, like because of the timing of him coming out, you know. And then one of my favorite Tony Schiavone lines of all time, where he calls Hulk Hogan a POS, going off the air on that. Like you have fans throwing trash in the ring, and the creation of that moment
If they didn't ruin it with the finger poke and everything else.
Which we just as a group just recently watched the figure poke of doom.
Exactly.
Just real quick from in the chat, I've been popping them up, but I'd like to say it real quick. Archives, books, chronicles, and diaries. For him, it was when Hogan won at the time the WWF Championship from Bob Backlund, and then he also, when we were talking about the WrestleMania stuff and everything, some of the other names like Sylvester Stallone, Mr. T, Cyndi Lauper, and others who helped bring wrestling to the mainstream. You know, like wrestling when all that happened, it became cool. Hell, another person that passed away this week, Ozzy Osbourne, has been another Hall of Famer in the WWE. Had several moments throughout WWE and WWF history, you know. And it just shows the impact that none of that would have ever happened without Hulkamania. And whether you're a fan or not, when you look back at the career, I agree with Marlo 100%. He has to be on the Mount Rushmore. If he's not the first person on that Mount Rushmore. You know, and for me, anybody that knows me knows picking Mount Rushmores isn't the easiest thing for me because I've watched so many eras of wrestling that it's hard to take that all together and be like, oh, these are the top 4. And especially when you've gotten to see and experience some of the things. Like I was at WrestleMania 15. I got to experience a Stone Cold Pop. You know, him coming out for his first of 3 WrestleMania main events with The Rock. And getting to experience that. That energy is something different. That's special. Just like another wrestler, Bray Wyatt, who passed away. You know, I was at Extreme Rules in Philly when he returned. You know, and that was the closest thing I've ever heard being in attendance to a Stone Cold Pop, if not bigger.
Yep.
I've been in the crowd for a couple Hogan Pops, and even though I was super young and right there with everybody, it was really polarizing taking it all in and just like feeling the vibrations of the place. It was just amazing.
Well, and I think another thing too, when you think about the era that y'all watched wrestling, y'all watched it and y'all couldn't get the behind the scenes. Y'all couldn't get, you know, oh, this might happen. This might happen. No, y'all were front center. It happened just in front of the blink of your eye. Not a take two, not a different standpoint, not a video game, not network, no like hotlines or anything like that. Y'all legitimately got wrestling. And yeah, wrestling was a lot different back then. There wasn't the biggest move set, but dadgummit, man, y'all were super entertaining. And
But I
like we
can
just
say,
said, the first WWF champion was Bob Backlund. Do you believe, as good as Bob Backlund was, that he could have drawed 90,000 people in one venue? No.
No,
I mean, if you really think about it, could Bob Backlund draw maybe 1,000? Maybe on a good weekend or something.
I would give Bob Backlund, you know, I could, let's just, we take that and put him in like today's age of how arenas are built. I could say that he could be built up to sell out a 10, 12,000 person arena as a top baby face.
I agree with that. I think the fact that now, if the wrestling audience now was where it was back then, it would not be the Hulk Hogan's that were the most over guy. It would have been the Bret Harts. It would have been the Shawn Michaels. It would have been, you know, the really technical guys. Hell, Mr. Perfect would have probably been a 4-time champ if we had the audience of now into pro wrestling. Like, I mean, you know,
Mr. Perfect should have been WWF champion.
I believe it. I totally believe it.
But he's also somebody who never needed the championship.
Exactly.
And that's something that a lot of people miss in today's wrestling too. You know, we're all fans of, there's certain guys we're all fans of, and guys that we want to see have that in their, that notch on their belt, right? That they're a former world champion, but not every person can be a main eventer. Not every person can
No.
be there. As an example, somebody I've kind of come to terms with this with being currently in the wrestling world, Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry, yes, he is way over, and putting a
Oh,
title
that's my
on
daughter's
him,
favorite guy right there, man.
putting a championship on him is a great thing, but he's not a guy who needs the championship. Just like
Right.
Cody Rhodes. You can book these guys as champions without having a championship, and they will still be just as over. Same
All
thing
right.
with Jey Uso.
I agree with that. I agree with that to an tip. All right, man. Cody. I think when we come to an example of Cody Rhodes is the example of the organic version of a old school pro wrestler to get over into this audience today. Cody brought the independent audience back to the WWE.
Oh
Cody
yeah,
brought spotlight into the independent pro wrestling world. Like, I'm sorry, as an indie guy, I have to say thank you for the house to Cody Rhodes because Cody Rhodes drew countless independent places that made WWE go, damn, they really are doing something. Like, who would have
he
thought?
did. He did bring a spotlight to other things, like at a time where Ring of Honor might have been in a downtrend. Where as soon as somebody like me
Such
who
as
might
New
have
Japan and them.
yeah, like he went to Ring of Honors, and I wasn't really watching Ring of Honor all that much at the time. But Cody appeared over there. I was a fan of Cody before his release, and I could kind of see he was going to get to where he is now. And even we talk about revolutions with Hogan. Cody's an AEW. He was a part of starting that to make WWE step their game back up.
Yep.
Like,
And I mean,
WWE wasn't in the greatest state when AEW started.
I will say this. WWE was in the spot as nobody can touch. And there was no way that anyone was going to even get close to us. If it was the closest thing, we all talk about it. When Hogan got TNA, Vince was a little worried because he knew what Hogan did for the WCW era. They almost put WWF out, if we want to
83.
be real. And TNA, Hogan had a chance. TNA was hot. I remember I literally watched because I actually saw him on an independent show in Georgia. I watched the phenomenal AJ Styles. And I actually got to, see different shows with him on it. And, hear shows when he talking about, hey man, I had plenty of chances to go to WWF. They wouldn't offer me enough. My landscape job paid more than what they were gonna offer. And then when he goes to TNA, TNA was the closest thing to to make it to where John Cena wouldn't be as big as a household as he was. If
The
we want to
one
be real, like
I think they had a good I remember that happening, and I'm like, they have a really good chance to bring TNA to
the
another level.
lineup was nasty,
Yeah, but the
nasty.
problem was
Yeah.
they went there and instantly jumped into a Monday Night War with Raw, which was the mistake. You build up the hype, get your roster established, get the stories going, so that when the time comes and you have to make the fans choose. As is something
Yep.
I said that I wanted for WrestleMania when Jey Uso won the Rumble. I wanted Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes in the main event of WrestleMania for the reason being to tear the fans apart and make the fans choose, or they're all going to cheer just for the match because they realize what they're seeing, and in the end, us fans win.
Right.
I agree to that, but also at that time, when you look at a guy like John Cena, you look at Cody Rhodes, what Cody done just in that time that he's been back in WWE. I think the reason why people are getting so rubbed the wrong way with Cody because they all thought he was going back to Stardust in the first year or the second year and stuff like that. And we're really legitimately seeing that is not happening.
No.
Like you could tell that they have really believed Cody was a main eventer before Cody was a main eventer. If we really want to be blunt, Cody literally put so much effort into every character he's done. I mean, I got to share a ring with him on an indie show, and I already knew I was like, "There's no way WWE's not going to sign this guy again. There's no way you're going to let that slip up again." Because
I
I
got a
remember when I
question.
was in the show with him, I remember we had maybe 25 people. It was in a barnyard setting, and Cody comes out there in a suit. Cody comes out there looking like $1,000,000. And the most thing I got the most respect for this guy is because most guys, I'll pull the curtain a little bit. Most of the guys that come from TV, they don't showcase their moveset as well as they do on TV because they're not getting showed a lot. They're not going to care about it. They're just going to get their check and leave. Cody said, I came here to learn pro wrestling. And Cody wrestled just like how you see him on WWE TV right now to this day in front of 25 people. And, that's something that I respect when it comes to Cody because Cody is now, he's not forcing fans anything. The only thing that we're thinking that he's being forced upon is because he's living rent free in everyone's head when it comes to social media platforms, when it comes to anything. If you're saying positive, if you're saying anything negative, he made it to where The Rock did not get a WrestleMania main event with Roman Reigns. You can't tell me that this man not only is an attraction, but he now made the box office standpoint to be like, when he left, wrestling was a little Debbie Downer for those 2 months. That's why they rushed him to come back because it's like when Roman Reigns and him were gone, you could only do so much with Seth Rollins. You could only do so much with these different guys. So it's
Kelvin,
like you just got to find that piece.
What was your question, Kelton?
Okay, I was asking Marlon, was you a wrestler before?
Marlo, he was asking you if you've been a wrestler before.
If I ever what?
Was you a wrestler before? Oh no, because when you had said you had shared the ring with Cody, I thought you was talking about like y'all had fought against each other.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, no, he's asking if you were a wrestler before because of your story about sharing the ring with
Yes, I was an independent pro wrestler for 10 years. I just recently hung it up 2 months ago. I was a character called the American Prodigy. I've wrestled through Georgia, out south, southeast Florida, northeast Florida, pretty much everywhere when it comes to the Florida area. I wrestled a little bit in Texas. I've gotten to share the ring in some venues that really are still idolized. The one where I think it was what is AEW's show they do in Seattle? I can't remember which one it's called. The one where Edge debuted. I got to wrestle in an arena that size before. I've been extra in WWE a couple of times. So I've had my fun. Let's just put it that way.
Now, as me, see, when I tell people that I'm a wrestler at my age, they don't believe it. But like when y'all was talking about like Hulk
Y'all hear me?
Hogan, huh? Yes, I am. Like when it comes down to like Hulk Hogan's moveset, I used his leg drop, but I had stopped using it after like the first year because I had realized that I didn't want to be like disrespectful or anything because I didn't know if it was a
All
bad
right.
idea for me to use his moves and
Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
yeah, I can hear you.
It works, man.
Okay.
But yeah,
All of a
like I
sudden,
was
I was like,
saying,
I didn't know if anybody could hear me or not.
but yeah, like I was
You're good,
saying,
bro.
like
Sorry,
me using his,
technology.
but like yeah, when I was using his leg drop for
But yeah,
like the
man.
first,
Like I said, I speak on two perspectives when it comes to this, and I think this is one reason why a lot of people do respect me when it comes to the podcast standpoint is because at first I was one of the starting out where a pro wrestler actually made a podcast, and it's like I wanted to have fans' perspective of these things. But the thing that drives me nuts when fans is sitting there going, "Oh, they got lack of move sets and stuff like that." I'm like, it's hard for me to let you say that if you haven't been in the ring to do it because you don't realize what it takes to get involvement in that. I know a lot of people want to crap on it. I'm very excited to see what Jelly Roll is going to do in that tag match
Oh, so am
because
I.
obviously what they're talking about, what he's done at the Performance Center. I mean, I'm very excited because a lot of people at that stature would not do this.
And
When
you can see that he's lost weight, and as you said, everything's saying that he's putting in the work, which in perspective is the complete opposite of somebody like Travis Scott has done, who WWE has just pretty much cut ties with at this point.
I got rubbed the wrong way with that main event at WrestleMania. It was a good match. I won't knock it on that part. I was marking out for both ends. Cody deserved where he was. I know it was a passing the torch type of match. Obviously, it's going to be a continuous one. What we're going to get at SummerSlam. I'm excited about that. But the Travis Scott thing, yeah, I wasn't mad with it, but I was also at the same time like they could have done it a little bit better. I know it was supposed to reenact the Dennis Rodman thing. It just didn't get over with the audience at this time.
Yeah.
But I mean,
That's something that will get more over as a social media clip than actually
exactly,
watch. Unlike back in the day when the whole Rodman and Leno thing, it's like, oh, they're going to be on Jay Leno. Oh, I want to stay up and watch that
exactly.
because there's no other way for me to see it otherwise.
I like what they did with the tag match right now, and I love what they're doing with that SummerSlam match right now. They're promoting it very
Which is,
well.
yeah. Speaking of SummerSlam, we're pretty much done talking about Hogan at this point. Just real quick to bring something up here that I have was something that I just saw, which we've all kind of brought up, was some of the accomplishments that Hulk Hogan had in his career.
Yeah.
I brought one that's not on here that I brought up, being the first ever New Japan World Champion. He was a 6-time WWE champion, a 6-time WCW champion, Hall of Famer, 8-time WrestleMania main eventer, 2-time Royal Rumble winner, and was the leader of the NWO. You know, among other things that he has credited that's not mentioned here. Hulkamania will live forever, whether you were a fan of him or not.
I will say this. If you were in the Florida area, you know how big Hulk Hogan was in this area. And I mean, I'm talking, we might get mad with this. I'm talking about Terry Bollea.
Yeah.
Terry literally had business after business after business over in the Tampa area. Terry literally was in and out of Orlando. I remember I've met Terry 3 times and I've never had a bad encounter with him. And you know, these things that people say and stuff like that, and I've seen what they were saying. I get it. You have mixed feelings, but you also got to be in that perspective standpoint where you look at it and go,
And be respectful.
what state of mind he was in when he had that moment. He's just speaking on about a father and upset. I get it. It's wrong in every possibility what he said. You don't say certain things. And I think Hogan really at that time, he didn't care because like you said, he's pro wrestling. He's the biggest name out here. He's untouchable. And at the time, we looked at it and go, man, that's wrong. You need to come out and apologize and do those things. And the sad thing is, he has done it, but we have not seen it publicly because we've tried to avoid it to make that still look that pawn of him. And I feel like that's the only thing that really sucks about this. He's not getting to see how appreciated he was on social media and stuff like that now because when he was on this planet, he was dragged in the mud. And I feel like that's something that really sucked.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if you guys listen to Busted Open or not, but they have a segment on Mondays now called "Give Somebody Their Flowers," because every time they turn around, we have a Hall of Famer or somebody who was important to the industry passing away, and a lot of these guys never really get to hear how appreciated they really are in that type of format. Like they do the meet and greets and the wrestling cons and the Comic Cons and stuff, you know. But when it comes down to those of us who have the podcasts and we sit here once a week or however many times a week and we talk about it and we watch it and we have all these memories, you know, to have it because we wouldn't be doing none of this in the end still if it wasn't for Hulk Hogan, and it has nothing to do with not one of us being in a ring. It just has to do with us being fans. And drawing us in. And wrestling, the one thing about wrestling that I love is the storytelling. Because that's how, and it's in 2 forms is the storytelling. One is the promos and outside the ring. And them talking and bantering back and forth. The other is the match that you get to watch when all the talking is said and done. Because that's as much storytelling because that's the struggle now. Who's the better man? We've talked all the trash. Let's see who's the better man. And all that comes together in the long run, whether it was against a Roddy Piper for Hogan or it was against Warrior, which I put the WCW one because WCW really missed a really good moneymaker with that one to where that could have continued on.
Mm-hmm.
And they just went really weird with it. I'd like to move on talking about SummerSlam. You guys are more than welcome to join the conversation if you like.
I was coming to
Unless you got other things to do, but you're more than welcome to stay on and join the conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I appreciate y'all having us on, man. Thank you all for what y'all do. I like how everyone got to have an open-minded perspective when it comes to these things. Sometimes it's hard to talk pro wrestling. Like, my goodness, it feels like it's politic talk now, and I never thought it would be like so savagely in wrestling now. So it's like, it gets so funny to see like we talk about a predetermined sport. We talk about something that's
Yes.
choreographed and all that, but people take it so serious. And that's something that I love about wrestling because whenever it is, no matter if you've ever seen wrestling or not, you're never going to go to a show and never be entertained. I don't care who you are, say what you want, ever. I've told people numerous times if you go to a show, at least one or two of those matches is going to cap you in. You're going to be like, I had a good time. Like,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
never going to be a scenario that you ever going to be able to say, you go to a show and that's pointless. And that's something like I think pro wrestling, I think Hulk Hogan, I think everything that, the kids, the mindset now of wrestling, the mindset from back then wrestling, um, as me kind of now call myself, I don't really call myself an old timer because I'm only still in my 30s, but it's like I've been in that business for a long time when it comes to different landscapes of what works and what doesn't. Um, I'm thankful for everyone that goes in the ring, good or bad. I don't care what it is. You are literally another animal to step in that 16 by 16, that 18 by 18, whatever, because you know that that thing is hard times. And I'm speaking in very nice language when it comes to this because that's the noise you're hearing. It's not a trampoline. It's not nothing soft. You bumping, and it's not.
I got to experience that for the first time this past week doing rolls and stuff like that. And I'm not saying I loved every second of it, but the next day, the feeling the next day after the adrenaline's gone, after
Oh
doing
yeah.
everything, and you're just like, oh man, I feel it. But
Don't
it's a
worry, man.
good
When you get
feeling.
that match, when you get that match feeling, and when you get that crowd, and I want to have you on the show or something like that. Speak of your experience when you do have your first show, because I tell people the biggest drug is going through a curtain. Small crowd, big
I'm
crowd, whatever.
actually more in training to be a referee, but they still want me
Okay.
doing the
Oh
other
yeah.
stuff.
You're still gonna get that feeling. You're still
Yeah.
gonna get that
Oh
feeling.
yeah. And as you said as well, I would love to have you back on sometime in an interview type
Definitely.
format to talk about because sounds like you have a couple interesting stories. Love to have you back on sometime to tell some of those stories.
Hey man, definitely. But guys, thank y'all for having me on. Like I said, thank you, Hulk Hogan. Rest in peace. Thoughts and prayers go out to his
Yeah.
family. I mean,
Again, everybody buzzing with Marlo, please go check it all out. We promote it here every week. I enjoy seeing a lot of the clips from your interviews and stuff because a lot of the time I don't have time to sit down and throw
oh, you
something
and me
on.
both.
Especially with how much wrestling is on today. Like we talk about like just wrestling in the general purpose. It's hard to try to we try to cover everything as much as possible on a weekly basis. And even this
Yeah.
week, we might overrun a little bit from what we do normally do, like a 2 hour format. But when it comes to losing an icon and something like this,
You
And
gotta put a good focus on it. I
yeah,
mean, that
you
is
know.
what it is.
And something else that a lot of people might not remember is, do you remember when WWF shifted to WWE? Hulk
Yep.
Hogan was the last WWF champion, and the next night on Raw was the first WWE champion after he
Yep.
defeated Triple H,
Yep.
which was a sad moment for me because I've always been a Triple H fan, and I didn't want to see him lose the title he just won from Jericho. But yeah, man,
That's
thank you.
the Yeah, definitely, man. Thank y'all.
We'll,
Definitely looking forward to the next one.
yeah, man, we'll plan on maybe having you on for one of these panels sometime, an interview as well, do some crossover stuff.
Yeah, man, definitely. Like I said, I'm free on Sunday, so y'all just let me know.
All right, brother. Thank you for joining us. Uh, Kelton is can't unmute. Okay, they muted themselves, so we'll throw you backstage till I see you pop up. Yeah, that was wow. We almost covered a whole hour on Hulk Hogan alone. So,
Yeah, gone way long.
before we get to, I know I said I wanted to talk about SummerSlam, but real quick, TNA this past weekend has Slammiversary, which was an absolutely amazing show. And if you guys have never watched TNA, now's the time to get in there, find Axis, find it streaming somewhere. It's wherever you gotta do to see it. See it. Like, they are doing great stuff over there, especially with their work with WWE. That we are really seeing this relationship blossom in more way than one. And a lot of fans will argue, oh, they've taken two of TNA's titles. So what? Guess what that means? Those titles are now being featured on a bigger brand.
That four-way ladder match, tag team ladder match was just absolutely amazing.
Oh, yeah. I really thought the entire show was good as a whole. Like, Leon Slater, I almost want to say is the MVP coming out of that show.
That was a great match, yeah. And
Him and Moose put on, and then AJ Styles coming out and putting him over afterwards. Absolutely. Oh, speaking of it, dude, hearing his TNA theme song and him actually coming out to it. Oh, I'm getting good. I'm getting my hair. You can't. It's standing up on end just talking about that.
it was funny too. My first thought was like, "Who's this long-haired guy?" Oh, wow, okay.
And then even then, when we were watching it after the tag team match and Bully coming out and not coming out to the Bully Ray thing, which I pointed out to you and Chef instantly.
Yeah.
That's the Team 3D theme. What are we getting here?
Oh, and I heard Devon had like a family thing, so he couldn't be there, or else he would have been there.
But apparently that could be conflicting as well, just for TV, because apparently he was at a con or something too. But whatever it was, he didn't need to be there for that.
No, it was more impactful just Bully being there.
We had, as everybody saw, if you watch wrestling NXT this past week, JC Jane made history. She is the first woman to simultaneously hold a WWE championship and the TNA. Once they get their stuff connected, we have another guest. They're just rolling on in. Let me tell you. I'm going to say this. My match of the week is probably going to be from Slammiversary, in all honesty. Because it was a great week of pro wrestling. I thought Raw was really good this week as well. And I loved how the show kicked off. Like, and yes, I always argue about how it's always a promo to start off Raw, but it seems like they're giving us a little bit of story threads that will play out at least through part, if not all, of the show. Last week it was the car crash thing with Solo's group, with the MFT and all that stuff. And this week it was Judgment Day and AJ Styles. And I absolutely loved it. Dom's like, I'll valet the car. He turns around, it's AJ Styles as the valet. Oh, AJ Styles, no matter what he does and he's involved in, it's always fun, and at the same time, you can see he's having fun. And
Like this character, or maybe not character, but this little tweak of character might have something to do with his feud with Karrion Kross.
wow, just real quick, imagine that stable of Karrion Kross, AJ Styles, and Sami Zayn with Scarlett managing them.
Throw in Aleister Black and I'm in.
I'll allow it. Hey, I'll allow it. I'll allow it. As a rep in training, I allow it. I really enjoyed the CM Punk Gunther back and forth. It didn't need to get physical. I don't want to really see them get physical at all until SummerSlam because I think it's beyond them for that to happen.
Yeah, agreed.
This whole El Grande Americano thing, I really hate that I'm enjoying it so much with Ludwig under that mask right now.
Oh, you think it's Ludwig Kaiser now? Okay, I thought you thought it was Chad Gable. See, so people are inconsistent with it. People are saying it's Chad Gable, then they're saying it's like make up your mind.
Oh yeah. So the last person, what did they just happen to be like 13 years old, signed by the WWE, and get injured, and then all of a sudden hit puberty and grow a full foot and a half?
Cameras, maybe different camera angles make people look different, sizes and perspective.
We're not talking about cameras for 30 years ago that put on 20 pounds just being on TV. All right.
Oh, mine does.
But in all seriously, if they can stretch it out long enough with these two, in all honesty, I want Chad Gable to come back under his mask, and then we get El Grande Americano versus El Grande Americano, mask versus mask, and they both pin each other and have to unmask at the same time.
I love it. It would never happen, but I love it. He's still muted.
Let me see. Kellen, you are muted, just so you know.
Oh, what happened to?
There you go.
Laura One, I forgot how to say it then.
And if you can hear us, you're I have nothing to bring you up on. No camera, no nothing. But yeah, we're just talking Monday Night Raw at the immediate moment. Going through the week in wrestling. I thought Sheamus and Rusev was really good this week too.
Yeah.
Which was a match we thought was going to happen at SummerSlam, which I doubt that gets added to the card now.
And that's a feud that
could be a TV feud.
Yeah. You don't need PLEs for that feud.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't like how sorry to cut y'all off. I don't like how on Sunday, Saturday, SummerSlam, it's all championship matches. Like I understand that's hyping enough for more people. But like I would love for them to try to fit in more matches, but like non-championship matches.
Well, let's see here. So that's an interesting point of view because in my view, when it comes to a PLE, it should be majority championship matches or a really top-built feud that deserves the PLE pay-per-view payoff. So I'm looking at the rundown right now. We have both world titles, both women's titles, so that's 4. We have the women's tag team titles, that's 5. Women's Intercontinental, 6. United States Championship, 7. So we have 8 title matches out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Out of 12 matches so far.
Yeah, out of 9 possible.
And we're talking about the second biggest show of the year when you're looking at the WWE calendar being SummerSlam. Yeah. SummerSlam and WrestleMania should always be majority title matches and big feuds.
Like, just look at it. It's only 4 regular matches and 7 championship matches. And like,
I'm sorry to cut you off. Just in the chat real quick. LA Knight, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Bailey so far not on SummerSlam. That is only half correct. If anybody paid attention, which I had posted short
Braun Breaker is at is gonna be at SummerSlam.
Yep, I actually posted a short about this when the match was officially made. Roman Reigns after Monday Night Raw not this week, the week before, posted on Instagram asking if Jey Uso would trust him one more time, and that he issued a challenge to the Bron, which I love that Bron, for a tag team match. Jey Uso was the first to respond, and he said he would team with the Tribal Chief again. And then Paul Heyman via TMZ accepted the challenge. So at SummerSlam, it will be our Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, main event, Jey Uso, Yeet, versus Braun with Paul Heyman in their corner.
Braun.
I mean, it's not wrong. Hey, Ryan. Oh, wow. We had so
Hello,
much
Ryan.
going on. Real quick, since he is now here, I'd like to play a video that Ryan did send in about Hogan. We were so caught up in the conversation. So here is Ryan Milky's thoughts from about Hulk Hogan.
Hey guys, it's Ryan Milky from WrestleRealm. I just wanted to come in here and thank BJ and DG and Chef for the opportunity to come on here and just say a couple of final words regarding Hulk Hogan. So, Hulk Hogan had his flaws, yes, we all know this. But what he did have was all our childhoods. Like, unless you're, I don't know, 80 years old, Hulk Hogan was part of your childhood. Hulk Hogan was the creation of the superstar, the sports entertainer. That's what Hulk Hogan was, and without Hulk Hogan, we wouldn't have the likes that we have today with Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, all of those people. All of those people are here and are on the pedestal that they're on because of the sacrifices and the way that Hulk and his team of men back in the day served the industry and served the business. So I just wanted to say, Hulk, I'm going to miss you forever. I genuinely will miss you. I never had any issues. Always loved you. Always had a smile on my face when you came out at any event or any arena. Didn't get to meet you person to person. You were in the same building as me at one point, which was really cool. You were over a room, but I just didn't have enough money to be able to afford the signature and things like that. But just know that I noticed you and I saw you, and yeah, Hulk, you're going to be missed, brother. But yeah, without further ado, from myself, Ryan, over at WrestleRealm, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. We love you. What you gonna do, brother?
Oh, sorry. All right, there we go. Great words from Ryan Milky. Thank you for sending in the video, sir. As you know, you're always welcome to join this channel at any time whatsoever. And I can see you're having issues. But yeah, back to talk. Steven Chambers in the chat. Yeah, WWE tickets for front row are ridiculous. I've seen some of those tickets going as high up as enough money to pay off a car going to a dealership. So
I don't know how, but one of my colleagues got floor seats for like $200 or $300 a piece.
Okay, guys, can I tell y'all like this crazy story from when I was? Well, I still wrestle now. So basically, like I was saying earlier, I did use Hulk Hogan's leg drop as my signature moves, and kind of like after a year using it, I had hold on, yeah.
I think you might have froze. Oh, no. Okay. Poppin', what's going on? Welcome to the chat. Glad to have you here. Yeah, so what I think I'm gonna be honest. Looking at this SummerSlam card, I know I was excited for a couple of the matches, especially after the Cena Rhodes match became a street fight. But the match I think I'm most excited for especially after this week on SmackDown, is the TLC match, which we have been speculating that they were going to do some big multi-team match after especially with the Wyatt return and how everything was coming together even before that.
So they strapped the belts on the Wyatt before they did the match. I'm fine with that.
And now let's put into perspective, as something we talked about earlier was building up to certain things. When was the last time we saw a Wyatt on pay-per-view or on a PLE? It's been a very, very long time.
Bray's return or Bray's last match?
That's what I'm saying. And now they've been back for a year now. And they're just getting their first PLE match on the second biggest show of the year when it comes to taking away the crown jewels to special shows, because we know all the international shows are always big shows, regardless of where they are.
And I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have to be all over every PLE. Like, then they kind of like lose that mystique, you know?
Yeah, and putting them in this style of match where there's no pinfalls or anything is the perfect match to put them in. But we do have some stuff here, so I guess I'll keep track of the predictions for this week.
Okay.
Let me figure something out here real quick to be able to do them.
I can go grab a notebook real quick if you like.
Actually, where's my bag? All the way on the other side of the room. Beautiful. But hey, we have video evidence of everything, so you know. So I guess I'll start at the bottom of this to make sure I have all the teams right. Let's start with talking about the TLC match. Oh, feedback. Kelton, just muting you real quick so I could hear feedback. The 6-team TLC match, which I don't think, have we ever had a 6-team TLC match?
Not that I can think of. They may have done 5 at some point. At 6, though, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
No, and the 6 teams in this match, obviously the Wyatts, representing the Wyatts, Dexter Lumis and Joe Gacy, which, by the way, I love that they have gold finally. I think they've earned it personally.
Specifically.
Yeah. Yes. All right. So we've seen a 4-team TLC match, but not a 6-team. Okay. Yeah, because they did the 4-team on SmackDown. I think that was the one that Lance Storm and Christian won on SmackDown.
Okay.
Yeah, we're talking about mid 2000s at that point.
I wasn't watching back then for sure.
We had a 6-pack. We had a 16 TLC match before. It was at WrestleMania 40. It was with the Judgment Day.
No, that was just a ladder match, not a TLC match. So yes, we've had 16 ladder matches in the past, but just under the guise of a TLC match. Because, even in a ladder match, we still see the tables, we still see the chairs. Maybe TLC should just become the default for ladder matches now. I would be okay with that.
Oh, no. We had a really good one on, we've had some really good ones lately.
Yeah. But yeah, in this match, the Wyatts, the Street Profits, Fraxium, Andrade and Ray Phoenix, DIY, and the Motor City Machine Gun. Like, that's a great lineup.
And I'll tell you what, loving this new thrown together tag team of Andrade and Ray Phoenix.
I would just like to point out real quick, I am happy with their team. Don't get it wrong. But if you're going to stick Ray Phoenix in a tag team, why isn't it with Penta?
He's on another show.
And when it comes to WWE, that might be a legit excuse, but it's also a legitly lazy excuse in my eyes.
Okay, the answer is there's no need to rush to throw them together right now. They have the rest of their careers to do that.
No, I know, but just look at that landscape. If I were to, So I'm going to just go back over the names one more time. DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, Gacy Loomis, Street Profits, Fraxium, and then imagine if it was the Lucha Brothers. It would just having that name included with it would
if
have
y'all
it.
think,
Go ahead, Kelton.
yeah, like I was saying, but what I think can happen if they can get if somebody randomly do attack Andrade before the match, I will most likely for it to be like Penta, or I won't mind if it's like one of the other teams. And then if when Andrade get injured, then they bring in Penta into the match.
BJ, don't you love the stuff that I start?
There's no need to rush the Penta.
No, I agree, but you just see my like train of thought there of, because I doubt they're winning the match. So having Ray, but if they were to run an angle like, hey, maybe we do want to put Penta and make this something a little bit more special. Because some of the stuff I would love to see them as a team going up against DIY. A Lucha Brothers Motor City Machine Guns tag team match in WWE.
Oh, it'll all happen.
I hope it's just not the time.
You're out from any of that,
Yeah, something else that we didn't bring up when we talked about AAA is that show's going to be on YouTube, as Steven Chambers pointed out. So that's going to be a fun show to watch. And I will say this again with how WWE's handling these acquisitions and the buying and getting involved with these other companies. It's a beautiful thing because they're not abolishing the company. They're trying to go in and be like, hey, you're under our purview, but we want you to be on your own 2 feet still. Just like something with TNA, which is a more involved crossover currently. But we've seen on and off over the past year and a half now of what it took for it to evolve to that. And imagine how good TNA is going to look when they win back their World Heavyweight Championship and their Women's Knockouts Championship. Or, just for a fact, what if Mike Santana knocked off Obafemi and won the NXT Championship? Because I'm at a point to where I don't think Joe Hendry needs the belt right now. I would love for the strap to be back on him. Don't get it wrong. We know where I stand when it comes to believing in Joe Hendry. But I also understand that he doesn't need a championship to be relevant, and he can still be a main eventer. But right now, after what we've seen the past couple weeks, who do you have coming out of TLC?
Wyatt's retained.
Who?
Wyatt's.
That's what I want to pick. But I look at this lineup, and what I picture is all 5 of those teams coming together to do some actual damage to the Wyatts, which would add to the story if they still won. Like, guess what? You put us through tables, you put us through ladders, you beat us with chairs, and we still climbed and won that. That's how good we are.
See, I just don't think all the other teams can coexist.
Oh, no. But they could temper. Big Show, do you remember when the Big Show was ECW champion and they did the championship scramble match at Night of Champions for the ECW, for the WWE version? All right. So during this match, you had the 4 competitors against him. Or it was like just a 5-way match. It could have been. They all teamed up and took out the Big Show. And then they kind of turned it into a fatal 4-way for the first couple minutes after that. Big Show woke up angry, got a trash can full of kendo sticks, put it on his back like a thing of arrows, and just proceeded to beat the crap out every single person in that match. It was absolutely one of the most beautiful ass kickings I've ever seen in pro wrestling, because that's kind of the idea in a multi-man match. You take out the people who are the biggest threat to guarantee the crowning of a new champion. Right. But a ladder match is very unpredictable.
Right.
especially with 12 person, essentially a 12-person ladder match.
Yeah.
Um, you know what? I'm going to pick the underdogs in this match, and I know I should. I want the Wyatts to retain. I will make that clear. I want the Wyatts to retain, but I would love to see Fraxium
Okay.
come out on that stage after their NXT run and what they did. They're the youngest team in that match.
Yeah, I'm gonna
By
just say
far.
this. I'm gonna just say this. No offense to Fraxium. I don't agree with that. Like if they already had a good run with the NXT tag team titles, what's the point of giving them another another run with a whole different set of tag team titles on a different brand? And it doesn't make sense because like that can ruin their reputation if they just lose the titles. Because
Well,
I'm surprised they didn't ruin their reputation when they had lost it to Hank and Tank.
So
But
the idea becomes now that NXT slash Evolve are both developmental brands still. Let's not get that wrong. Let's not overlook NXT is a powerful third brand, which has gotten to a point that they needed something else under that to get people TV time. But when you look at that team, I kind of feel like that they deserve it with the work they put in to where DIY they are literally one mad match away from us getting a Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa feud again, which I am absolutely clamoring for because I loved it when they did it in the original version of NXT
oh
when they
my god, that
first
match
broke
was so
up.
good.
Um, and the Motor City Machine Guns are another. Every team in this match is a solid pick to win, and that's what makes it so hard because it's a ladder match. It doesn't come down to a pinfall or a submission. It comes down to who's the last team standing or who's the last man standing for a team to climb up that ladder and get the win. And Fraxium, being the younger team, they can probably handle a lot more than bumps than a lot of these other veterans because the next youngest team would be probably Gacy and Loomis. At least I want to say age wise, to where everybody else has kind of been in the game for a while and are veterans in the situation. I can see your point though that hey, they had, but that's also why because they had all that success in NXT with those championships. So and the fans respond to them well on the main roster. So hey, give them the shot. But like I said, in the end, I would love to see the Wyatts come back out with those titles still because I feel like that group as a whole with the setbacks has worked really hard to maintain.
and why not have Nikki beat Julia for the women's US eventually?
That wrong title, but it stands. So the next match they have on this list, I guess, has been confirmed, and this is on WWE's website. I can bring this up to show, but Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross.
Oh yeah, that's confirmed. If you
Uh
go look on their Instagram page and look at their highlights and go to SummerSlam, you'll see all the confirmed matches.
yeah. I'm on the WWE.com page right now. I just know it wasn't confirmed on TV yet, which doesn't mean nothing. Because now,
Um,
like, we had Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun completely set up through social media.
but you want to know what I would love to see though?
As the challenge of. Go ahead.
I would love to see Soul Worker and Zarya come up to the main roster and win the women's tag team championship. But that should have been happened when they had since the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship go to all the brands, but still, I think they should have won it at Evolution because I don't like how Judgment Day is doing it right now. I really don't like it. It's just
You,
been to a point to where like Roxanne, she should have stayed on NXT. I don't think I understand she has accomplished things, but I don't think
there
she's
was
ready
nothing
yet.
left for her to accomplish in NXT. Her coming up to the main roster was the next logical step for her, and
I
now
mean,
she's
yeah, I
just in a,
understand that. I understand that.
but she's just in a position where
She don't know
now
if they're even
she's
doing it.
replacing Liv Morgan to keep so those titles again, are not vacated, because those titles have a very bad history of a team wins them and somebody gets injured and they have to be vacated. And I
Oh
give
yeah,
props
that's
to WWE for figuring out ways to do it. And I feel like Roxanne has earned her spot on SmackDown. As soon as she gets through this story, we're going to be seeing her compete for that mid-card title or for the Women's World Championship.
And it's a classic story that always works. The reluctant tag team champions, and then like they gain each other's trust, and it's a tried and true.
And if you're going to ask me if Judgment Day should have lost when they should have lost the titles, it should have been the metaphor, Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. That's when that they should have had those. But we all know where I stand on Lash Legend. I think that she is the future. She is what Jade Cargill should be by now, and isn't.
Didn't Jakara sign with TNA?
Oh, she debuted this past week in TNA, as a matter of fact, in a 6-woman tag against Spy Elegance, teaming with the Inspiration.
Right.
So our next match to talk about: Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross.
okay. Now, here I'll speak first. So with this match, I don't think that this, in my opinion, this feud should have stopped it at Night of Champions. But for them to be pushing this all the way to SummerSlam and not giving it like a stipulation, like I would love to see no holds barred. You see how Karrion Cross keep on attacking Sami Zayn
I
with a lead
mean,
pipe,
we
and
still have tomorrow night to add to it, or you can add to it the night of SummerSlam during the pre-show. WWE has changed steps last minute like that.
During the match.
Yeah. I don't think necessarily this match needs a stipulation. Do I want to see one? Yes. But when we look at the card still, we have a triple threat match. That's good. We have a cage, which has no disqualifications, no count. We have a cage match. We have a TLC match. We have a street fight for the WWE Championship. You don't want to go too far into that and essentially create a WWE deathmatch show, because that's not what they do.
And not only that, like every one of those matches with Stips deserves the Stip. Like this one, out of all of them, I would be the most comfortable with this just being a one-on-one.
You know what though? I would say let's go old school with the Stip. You take that steel pipe and you hang it from a pole above one of the turnbuckles. Let's go old school. Or let's just say a strap match.
Scarlett in a shark cage match.
Let's put Scarlett in the shark cage, right? We hang the pipe from the turnbuckle and let's get it on. But I'm gonna be
so wrong.
honest. I'm going to be honest with this match.
I'm gonna just say this: we ain't putting my girl Charlotte in a shark cage.
Ooh,
That's what we ain't doing. She's not gonna end up like Dominic. Remember what happened last time he was in that shark cage?
Scarlett, not Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte's in a tag team match. But yeah, in all honesty, even though we do know that Karrion Kross has not renewed his contract yet, I'm picking him to win this match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I believe they're gonna push him to where he should get one final good push while he's still there. Because I would hate for him to just leave WWE and all he's been doing is just stalking people.
Not only do I want to see him win this match, I want to see him become #1 contender and face Gunther. Because I think
be all about it
at Clash in Paris.
Even if he beat Dom and had a IC reign, I'd be fine with that.
I mean, I wouldn't expect him to beat Gunther, but just to see the match, we had talked about pre-show about the possibility. What if they add the stipulation if Sammy loses, he has to join Karrion, right?
Right. Okay.
And what if Sami Zayn has to reluctantly help Karrion defeat Gunther to win the world title? And because a lot of people now have been so soured, I feel like, on Karrion that they're just coming back around to him. Kind of like, because he has all these segments like R-Truth had. right?
Right.
R-Truth got released, which we will always disagree on. I'll say it was 50. It was 50-50. It was something that was real that got turned into a work because of the backlash of fans, and they were like, "Oh, we got something here that we did not know we had, and we can't let this go to another company."
They knew what they had.
So I think they knew to a point, but the reaction was much more than what I think they thought they would get, the backlash from it, One of those things where it's like, oh, wow, we knew what we had. We didn't know we had that, though.
They know. They know. That was calculated.
But yeah, I think Karrion Kross wins this because I feel like at this point, Sami Zayn's in a crossroads and a heel turn could be coming sometime before WrestleMania. I think we're still quite a ways out from it, just like a Cody heel turn, which that's still time consuming in itself because it all depends on this John Cena run and what they have working up toward it. Because at the moment, if Cody Rhodes is not champion going into WrestleMania, him and Randy Orton.
Okay, yeah. Save that thought.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, I am. Because, yeah. But yeah.
Also, what was I going to say? You're opening my eyes to a lot of possibilities with Sammy as like a submissive heel, like under Karrion Kross, and like
Control.
There's a lot that could be going. There's a lot that could happen there with a broken Sami Zayn. Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say now that paints a nice picture. I like where that could go.
Yeah. It even with like say you add the steel pipe as part of the match, and I would even go to the point to say that the person that pulls down the steel pipe's the only one allowed to use it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So
because now you get the idea that Sammy pulls it down. Scarlett can distract the ref. Karrion can grab it and win the match without the referee ever seeing it being used by him.
Okay, but I got two questions for y'all. Are y'all friends in real life or like?
No, in real life, we actually truly hate each other. No, just kidding. No, we are actually friends in real life. We actually do attend indie events together, which SPO Wrestling.
We met at an SPO show, actually.
Yeah, we actually met at an indie show, and a couple months later, actually a year and a couple weeks ago, we did our first show together, previewing deathmatch style show.
I think it was like
SPO Wrestling.
Or the show was July 1st or 2nd, so our show would have been like the week before.
Yeah, well, so in the past month, we shared that anniversary, of this of what was the stepping stone to creating this.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Hopefully, one time y'all can probably come to one of my wrestling shows. But since I live all the way in Arkansas, it's probably gonna be a trouble. But it is what it is.
What state yet?
Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're in New Jersey.
Yeah, that's like a 10-hour drive. Neither of us drive.
But we're not in as WWE would say, we're not in the shadows of New York. We're in the shadows of Philadelphia, where we are.
That's right. We are 20 minutes from the ECW arena and like 90 minutes from the Meadowlands.
Yeah. So, BJ, you got Karrion Kross or Sami Zayn?
I'm gonna go Kross.
I like that.
I would love to see Sammy win, but I like the idea of Sammy just being completely broken and what comes from that.
And it also brings a bit of interesting story due to the fact that it does put him in a crossroads to reevaluate stuff, because look at everything he has lost. He lost the bloodline. He lost that Intercontinental Championship, He's had chances to become a world champion and had them taken away from him. He is a beaten down man right now.
Before Kross, this is what popped into my head when you were talking earlier. Before Kross takes on Gunther, he has to take on Jay with Sammy in Kross's corner. Not only that,
I'm okay with that.
leading up to that, we're going to get a Sammy J match with Cross interfering. I'm liking the sound of that.
But yeah, as we get on talking about the SummerSlam, I'm gonna finish your about the funny story with how I had to stop using Hulk Hogan's leg drop. And yeah.
That's yeah.
Let's see. Hold on. I'm finally writing predictions down.
Did you write my predictions down or hello?
Well, what we do is we preview our. What we do is we preview the shows like we're doing now. We talk about it, and then between us, we keep predictions to see how we line up. At some point, it might become a bit more competitive, when it comes to it. But it's part of the fun of being a fan of our fandom and stuff like that.
Once we get that title belt, then it'll get real competitive.
Yeah. Let me see here at the moment. Got to tab back over. There we go. So now, the next, because I'm just going up the list to what I know is going to main event the entire weekend. Oh, wait, something in the chat here. You guys actually did your first wrestling talk show right before my 63rd birthday. See, it was all meant to be.
Well, happy 64th in a month.
Oh wow.
The next match they have listed here, because I'm not really going in any specific order. I just want to save the WWE title match for last. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun.
Okay, I'm gonna just say this. It can go either way. Jay and Roman Reigns can get help from Jey Uso. Dang, oh my God. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso can get help from Jimmy Uso. Y'all have some bad audio because I can't hear y'all. I don't know why.
What's that?
So yeah, like I couldn't hear y'all first, but yeah, I believe Roman Reigns and Jey Uso can get help from Jimmy, maybe, because they can probably. I don't think we've seen him since Saturday night's main event.
But Jimmy's been heavily involved with Jacob.
Yeah, or yeah, and then either Seth Rollins can return, but in my opinion, I think it's too soon for Seth Rollins to return. And then like another thing is he could probably cash in on Gunther and CM Punk match. But still, it's too soon for him to return. Because he literally just got injured at Saturday night's main event. Saturday night's main event was like a whole month ago. He cannot get that heel back again. I literally broke my leg. He won't be back no time soon.
If the injury's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so his injury is legit.
Why? How am I
But
cracking
his
you up?
injury happened before Saturday night's main event. They just did the spot, which is why it was filmed the way it was, because when it happened, we had the debate here on the show whether it was real or not. And you could kind of see that it was, but it was always going back to how he landed coming out of that rebound flip off the ropes. So that was the one part. Everything else we're just like, well, they don't do it like that regularly. But then again, this is a special case. There's nothing else going on. So what are they going to show? They're going to show that because it makes sense. There is speculation about Seth. We'll get to that a little bit later because, well, we know somebody who has a title match who he wants to make sure never wins a championship in WWE, and we will get to that. For the match we're talking about, I think I take Roman and Jey at the moment. I don't see where Roman Reigns comes back to do the job unless Jey gets pinned.
So do you think in Roman and Jey winning, they're trying to catapult Roman back into a title picture?
Not right away. Did Mrs. Danger Ginger warn DG about how much his body? I already knew that. but I mostly did rolls and stuff like that. It was a good hurt. It wasn't the bad hurt. I got good marks. I got good advice going into it. A lot of support coming out of that day of training. I'm still kind of sore, but more of that's from this weightlifting and stuff. But you know, the missus supports me 100% with what I'm doing, and she's there with me to support.
Are you talking about your mom or?
No, my wife.
Oh, that's nice. No, I didn't know who he was talking about. Like when they say mystery. Oh, I see
Well,
what y'all doing.
we're in our. I'm in my 40s, so you have like a third of my lifespan that you've been on this earth, kid. But that's all right, man.
His
It's
mom
all right.
supports him.
Yeah, I have the support of my family and stuff in what I'm doing. But yeah, does Roman need to be? Let's put this into perspective because I said it about Joe Henry and I've said it about Cody Rhodes in the past. Does Roman need to be in the title picture?
No, not anymore. No.
But I would love to put this. Oh, Captain Heel, what is up? I actually meant to reach out to you. If you would like to pop on before the end of the show and anything about Hogan you would like to say, because I'd like to hit that stuff again before we go off air today. Let me know and I will send you the link to pop on if you would like. But yeah, if we're going to look at this, I could see Roman going into the title scene for a one-off with Cena, just in the respect that John Cena has never beaten Roman Reigns.
And that's
in
what
a
I was
one-on-one match.
That's what I was thinking. Like that needs to happen again.
I hear
like,
sirens.
We need another Cena Reigns.
Is Bad News Corbin? Oh, I hear.
I'm-
Never mind. Not Bad News Corbin.
Bad News Barrett.
Did I say Corbin? Oh my god.
BJ.
I hear my wrestlers confused. My bad.
No. You're good, man. You're good. There's so much of it. It's okay, man. BJ, who do you got for this tag team match?
It's like who needs to win more? Honestly, I think Braun need the win more. And it just being a straight up tag match, I could see Heyman getting involved and,
All right, so you're taking the bronze.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. I mean, I could see this one is another one of those like we had last week with the coin flip. It's just neither guy really need to win, but at the same time, that's what makes it interesting when you look at it from that perspective. And
like, in my opinion, well, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna get. I forgot who the person that said this before, because I was gonna give him some credit for it. But like, somebody said they love to wonder who is gonna be the winner of this match, and they said they don't like how they can predict how it's predictable who can be a winner of a match. I don't like that either.
Well, sometimes the idea is with a match, it doesn't matter if you know who's going to win or not. It's the story of how they get there. So, as an example,
the story of what happens after, the story of how it.
So let's use Avengers Endgame and Infinity War and Endgame as a thing of storytelling. We got Avengers Infinity War. And that movie, if you're being your age, I'm making the assumption you are a fan of superheroes at some point, or at least a fan of like the MCU style movies and stuff. So we saw in Infinity War, we saw our heroes lose. The baby faces lost to Thanos, who was the heel, right? And if you had read the comics that story was based on, like I did, I knew going into that movie, which, spoiler alert, everybody, Thanos wins and snaps half the universe away.
Dang, I don't know who's gonna watch that movie after like some years now, but hey, it is what it is. Because if you watching that
but
movie if you watching the movie this late, I don't know. I
all
don't
right,
know.
so then we get the sequel to that being in game. And what did the baby faces have to do in the story? In this story, because
Doc.
they had to figure out a way to come back and bring back all these heroes they needed and bring back their friends and their family to defeat Thanos, who was the heel in the situation. So when it comes down to it, it's like, all right. And a lot of those movies, superhero movies, because I'm a comic book reader, I follow a lot of the stuff. I grew up with it. I know the stories that they're doing and everything. But you know what? Just because I know how the story ends doesn't mean I don't enjoy the ride for getting there. Because when it comes to me and I'm watching wrestling, I could have read something that spoiled every match. I'm not going to remember that while I'm watching because I allow myself to embrace the moment, enjoy the ride for what it is. It's like going on a roller coaster. You know you're going to go up, you know you're going to go down, you might go upside down, you might do a twirl or whatever, but guess what? In the end, you know how the ride ends. You pulling
And
right back up to the gate to get off and maybe get back in line and do it again.
So knowing who's going to win isn't as big a deal as how it happens or
mm,
happens after or the implications, and
Yeah. And
so
now also I've watched wrestling for 35 plus years. So, and when when you get to that point, if you're still watching when you're our age, you're going to start seeing a lot of stories and things come back full circle and be done again. And the stuff will just repeat and be done again and again and again, just with a tiny twist to it. But you see it and you can make the connections to it.
y'all, I'm gonna just say this. This has to be the most weirdest tag team I ever seen. So I'm in Universe Mode in WWE. What type of tag team is it? B Fab and Nia Jax.
in my universe code, they like to randomly pair BFAB with any available woman. I've noticed
And it's
Uh,
that.
like
uh,
B Fab has to be the most greatest. Well,
Oh God, who is it on mine right now? I think on mine I have like somehow Nikki Cross as part of the Wyatts is teaming with. Oh God, now I can't think of it. And I'm
Zelina.
not. I think it is. As a matter of fact, it might actually be Selena, and it's completely random. I'm like, why?
Yeah,
How
Lena
did
definitely.
this happen?
does some crazy stuff like that.
What is going on in WWE 2K25 catering is what I want to know. All right.
And then like another thing, um, and now in the Universe Mode, now they got Obafemi teaming with Lola Vice. That's so odd. That has to be the most
Oh
oddest
man,
tag team ever.
I have in mind. I have Obafemi with a rocket on his back right now. He is currently undefeated on the main roster, and I have him with the United States title. And I'm just waiting for a moment because I want him to be the one I drop the WWE title to,
I mean,
so I can go to another show.
that's what. Oh, you do the same thing. But I did differently. This took me a long time. I took all the NXT and WWE championship to trade them out and put all the TNA championship. No, actually, I only did that for SmackDown.
I actually have a TNA brand in my universe mode. So I have
So
the TNA championships, but I also have an ECW at the moment, and I'm working on an SPO arena and belts to build that brand, so I can have an indie company.
We'll be
and
right back. Talk 2K.
then
But yeah,
another thing.
I would like to stay on topic at the moment because I don't want to do a 3 hour show.
Oh,
Um, but we can feel free to you can stay on after the show and we could talk 2K. And it's all good. The next match I have Solo defending the United States Championship in a steel cage match against the Samoan Werewolf Jacob Fatu.
You know how I feel about Jacob with gold. It's not necessary right now.
I would
Uh,
love to see him kind of like bump up. Oh, sorry to cut you off. You can continue.
and I was just going to say, You know, I'm going with Solo because Jacob is just straight up outnumbered. He's got Jimmy on his side. He's got a whole bloodline.
I think we might see a change in that at one point, but I don't think it happens yet. You know what? I know where you stand because I also did agree with you on that. We had the agreement. There is a video on here of us slightly talking about it. About that, my prediction was keep the gold off of him, let John Cena leave with the championship, crown a new WWE champion in Saudi at the Rumble, and put the title on Jacob Fatu. And I'm okay with lost everything for a moment there, but I'm back.
Back.
I'm okay with him having the title because I think what they're trying to do is just build up that legitimacy a little bit more so he has the credentials to be able to challenge for a world championship, which holding a mid-card title a couple times and seeing that he was screwed out of it at least the first time, possibly the second time, you know. It kind of said
if you win the Rumble.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. I don't know if you've seen it, Danger Ginger, but uh, Steve Chambers. Oh, there you go.
Yep. We're just finishing our thoughts before getting to the comments. Thank you. I'm also going with Jacob to get the title back, even though I feel like this is a 50-50, but depending on how the matches are booked between both nights overall, could we see a situation where updated bloodline, the Usos, Roman, and Jacob Fatu take on Solo and the MFT?
But you know, the
games.
MST's got Jeff Cobb. What's the go with that?
I mean, we still have a Tonga brother who's still on the shelf and hasn't returned.
Right.
I believe Tama Tonga can help Jacob win back the U.S. title.
It's just a matter of where they decide to go.
Yeah.
And I mean, we already had a Bloodline War Games match this past year, so I don't know if they're going to want to repeat it. But if they do, I'm all for it because this time it plays out a bit different because now we're not talking about Roman getting the Ulafala. We're not talking. We're now talking about him setting Solo straight and getting his family back in line. Like, I don't care what you guys do. You're not doing this no more. And I started it, and now I'm ending it. Because in the end, Roman said it to Paul Heyman on Monday night. Yeah, you played a part in my title ring. You didn't help me keep the title. That was the Usos. That was Solo. Hell, that was even Sammy. What did you do to help me? You couldn't even... You botched handcuffs, for God's sake.
Handcuffs. That's sad.
That was so suspenseful until you realize it's like, wait a minute, it should have already been.
Yeah. Just one of those weird things where it's like, well, okay, that happened. But God, did it make for some entertaining TV still? Let's be perfectly honest.
Oh, yeah. What do we got up next?
Next, give me one moment here. Next on the list, we have Lyra Valkyria challenging Becky for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Which this is an interesting one because now we're revisiting from their last PLE match the same stipulation as before. Besides now, it is now opposite. How do you see this one playing out?
I'm kind of torn. I've been so confident Lyra will pull it out in other matches, and she came up short. It depends on, like, do I think this is going to keep going? Has this run its course? Is this done? Is this going to be the decisive match in the feud? And if that's the case, I can only hope Lyra wins, but I'm going to say Becky.
Well, there's an interesting thought. there. Bailey turning on Lyra.
She
Because it
can't
was very,
already like enemies.
I mean, it's very weird at the same time between those two. Because even I'm all for randomness happening in pro wrestling, was like, why did Bailey get them a tag team title shot on Monday night? What? Because you're thinking at that point, like, oh, this could be setting up for something, you know. And I'm all for a Becky Lyra feud.
Oh yeah.
So you have Becky. You know what? I think I'm going to go with Becky as well.
Okay. Y'all probably gonna disagree with me with this, but I go Lyra. I go full on Lyra. Or it can end in disqualification.
The title cannot change hands in a disqualification, but it would count in a prediction format as a win. But it would be like cashing in Money in the Bank and winning by disqualification. You still don't get the championship, and you failed at cashing in.
yeah, like then like I believe Bailey is gonna interrupt the match somehow, some way.
I can see.
Going forward, Lyra and Bailey being a thing.
Well, with the stipulation being that if Lyra loses, she can never challenge for the championship again. A Bailey heel turn and costing her the match, and Becky's actually winning 1, 2, 3 would mean more, because now you can move Lyra onto that feud with Bailey and let Becky move on to challenging maybe Roxanne Perez.
My only problem with this, and I'm fine, like that's my prediction and everything. My only problem with all of this is you look at the divisions, right? You look at the women's world, or is it world or WWE?
On Raw or SmackDown?
Raw.
The women's world title picture.
World. Okay, I always forget which one is which show. Like you look at that division, and who's up there at the top right now? You got Rhea, you got Io,
Naomi.
Who else are you putting at the top right now? You know, so that division's very thin. When you have a pretty stacked intercontinental women's division,
I feel like both divisions are almost won at the moment. Still, there's been no real on SmackDown. We know the division,
right?
We know what's what. Raw still
SmackDown
kind
is
of building it.
I love SmackDown. But like if you really think about it, one thing
Oh yeah.
You can keep talking when I pop the comments up.
Okay. But yeah, like I was saying, like SmackDown, they always, in my opinion, they always had good storylines for their championships, and I like how, like if Raw did that, they run Hall of Famers out of retirement to challenge for the championships, and with Tiffany Stratton being champion, she always have another woman running up ready to fight her, and
that's good. I mean, that's good. And with Raw right now, we're in a weird spot because we did
and then like another thing is even though Nia and Tiffany had a lot of rematches for the title, they always put on bangers. Like remember that one? It was the night before Night of Champions. Bailey. It was Tiffany Stratton in the main event versus Nia Jax for the women's championship in the last woman standing match.
Oh, that match was great.
That match was great.
Yeah.
It also comes down to like with the women's world title situation right now, which we'll talk about more shortly. But we just had Naomi cash in, and she took away us getting a solid winner between Io and Rhea, which that Rhea Io match could be match of the year that Naomi just co-signed on.
There's still like that will main event a pay-per-view at some point this year, PLE at some point this year. Like Rhea Io will main event a PLE.
And at some point, because Rhea's never beaten Io in a one-on-one match, and that says a lot to how great Rhea really is. But Io just has her number every time, and then you have Naomi now in the situation, so you know. But next on the list, we have the women's tag team championship. Judgment Day, Raquel and Roxanne defending against Charlotte and Alexa Bliss.
Okay, now
and I got Charlotte and Alexa in this. I'm sticking with my prediction from the Fatal 4-Way.
Are you going with we're not friends?
Yep, we're not friends. And you know what? That is how I am putting it for my prediction.
Now okay. One thing about me, I love Alexa and Charlotte, and and that's my prediction. They're gonna win because if you really think about it, Liv Morgan can return and do something or cost something or do something like that. Because if you remember last year, it was kind of some tragedy with where Rhea Ripley had got portrayed by Dominic Mysterio. So it's if Liv Morgan have karma and she go through the same exact thing, but with Raquel and Roxanne Perez, and she can probably get and she most likely and she's probably gonna get kicked out of Judgment Day if she does return. And
I think that what's happening with that story is what Liv did to Rhea. Roxanne's now going to do to Liv, and she's going to get a
yes,
taste of her own medicine. And
Also,
it's going to turn Liv babyface.
with Liv's injury, by the time she's back, I doubt Judgment Day will even be a thing anymore.
No, I think by that point, that's when we'll get kind of like how we got the NWO split with Black and White and Wolfpack before the King of Poke of Doom.
I don't see him lasting the rest of the year.
Because I kind of see Roxanne siding with, or unless Dom changes which lady he's with on TV.
What's he going to go with Raquel?
oh, I will. Ooh, I will hate to see.
That talk about the swerve of the decade. So who do you have, BJ?
What match are we talking about?
We're Not Friends versus Judgment Day.
I would love to say we're not friends as much as I can. And Charlotte, I would love to say we're not friends, but I think the trajectory of their story is not impeded by a loss here. It only helps it along because next week on Friday you can be like, oh, that was a tough loss, but we got this. Like they can still like go down before, you know what I mean? And I think the story with the Judgment Ladies. There's a lot more happening.
Ladies, I like that.
There's a lot more happening there, and I think it involves the gold.
All right.
So I definitely think the Judgment Gals retain.
All right. Next on the list for the men's Intercontinental Championship.
AJ Styles.
All right. Just shooting it out there. The Phenomenal One and Dominic Mysterio. BJ, I'm assuming after what I just saw, you're picking AJ.
Dirty Dom. Dirty.
No, I don't. Why do you?
Oh, you're picking Dirty Dom to retain?
Judgment Day holds all the gold, and that's not going to change.
No. Okay,
dude.
so,
I will say that there was a picture of Finn and everybody with the titles or something Finn posted online, and I'm like, that's just a gorgeous thing. That's like the video from the week before of him polishing all 5 championships and having them all right like that. We haven't, in all honesty, let's put this into perspective. The last group we saw dominant like that was the Bloodline.
Yeah.
In WWE.
No, Judgment Day is going to hold all the gold coming out.
Now,
wait,
I'm kind of.
I can't. Okay, is this? Okay, I'm sorry to cut y'all off, but is Dominic Mysterio match against AJ Styles on night 2?
We don't know yet.
Okay, so if it's on night 2, and say if Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne lose the titles, I can see Dominic losing the titles. Then we can go on to see if LWO, which I hope, I'm not saying like they're gonna win it, but like then we could probably go on to LWO winning the World Tag Team Championships. Cause like the only person that we really seen hold gold in the LWO recently was Rey Mysterio, and we haven't seen Rey Mysterio in a long time.
Yeah, he's
like,
going from what I
they're also Rey Mysterio is also a SmackDown star now.
Oh yeah, but yeah, we haven't seen Rey.
No, I'm sorry, he's still on Raw.
He's raw.
They only separated Zelina from the group.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I'm picking AJ for this for the sole reason being I think at Triple Mania for AAA that Dirty Dom is going to walk out AAA champion.
Yeah, and that's probably gonna be his release, maybe.
That pop he got at AAA when he took that mask off. That is, like I said earlier, that was a Stone Cold-esque pop. That pop was the exact opposite of his booze. And we're getting to a point now where a Dom babyface turn could be coming sometime in the next 6 months.
Dom is top 5 most over on Raw right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first time in, I want to say, 6, 7, maybe even 8 weeks, we have passed the 2-hour mark on this show. And we kind of knew pre-show this was going to happen, be a little bit longer than usual due to the talk of Hulkamania and everything. But we are getting towards the end. We are getting there. The next match to talk about, Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul.
Okay, can I talk first on this one?
Go for it.
Okay, now when it comes down to Randy Orton and Jelly Roll, I believe I believe Jelly Roll can surprise everyone and get off with the pinfall, most likely on Logan Paul. The way BJ is shaking his head right now. Okay, but yeah, if you really like, then he can really hit a finisher. I don't know what the finisher is. I don't know what it's gonna be called. But he can hit his finisher 1, 2, 3 while most likely Randy Orton is probably beating up Drew McIntyre on the outside. But I do give the win to Jelly Roll and Randy Orton.
I think his finisher is he just falls on you. I think that's what his finisher is.
Well, I think his finisher is going to be the choke slams. That's the move we've seen him use a couple times, and it might be the safest move for him to do in a finish format on Logan Paul. Otherwise, I do like your train of thought because I could see something where we kind of saw in that clip from the late night show where Drew and Orton fight their ways, like say through the crowd or into the back. Something happens, leaving Jelly Roll and Logan Paul 1-on-1. Paul goes for the punch. Maybe it's a false finish, and he goes for a move for a second time. Gets caught, choke slam, 1, 2, 3. The baby faces win. We get the moment with Jelly Roll because, and then we can still move on with the McIntyre Orton feud currently because until we know what's going on with Cena and Rhodes, there is no reason why there has to be a clear path to Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes at the moment. Because I could see one other thing happening, and I'm just saying this. What if Orton doesn't necessarily join Paul and McIntyre, but punt kicks the living hell out of Jelly Roll and just leaves him there and turns heel to get pinned 1, 2, 3?
Nothing would make me happier.
You know what? Nothing would make me happier than to see somebody get punt kicked. But that's because I missed the move so much, and Kevin Owens' neck robbed us of that. But
if that does, and I do what you're saying, like Jelly Roll can be hitting a choke slam as his finisher, but I do see that most bigger wrestlers use the belly to belly, or you want to call it belly. He could probably do it over the head or just a simple turn, how Yokozuna did. Now I can see that as his finisher, and we can call it, and they can most likely call it the jelly belly or the roly belly.
There's so many options. Like I could see him doing like just a big clothesline, you know.
Right. Usually with the celebrity stuff like this, the celebrity usually comes out on top, or he's at least on the winning, or she is on the winning team. So I'm gonna go Orton Roll on this one.
I wonder if they're gonna come out to Jelly Roll music.
So Logan Paul was right, 100% what he said a couple weeks ago. Jelly Roll has no business being in the industry. Yeah, sure, he's putting in work at the performance center, but like, how long did he like diet and try to get in shape for this? Like, week. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between guys who like dedicate their lives to this, like Logan Paul, and guys who like, I almost said it with a straight face, and guys who like are just getting a payday and
Like
you know,
Travis Scott.
yes, we'll get to that. I have some kind words for him as well. Uh,
But just the idea that, and I think we're that I don't mean to cut you off, but we're also in a different age of celebrities coming into wrestling now, to where they actually go and train, and they're not just showing up at the arena like, oh, we're just going to try to make this work now. Like when you look at somebody like Logan Paul. Logan Paul is one of the best examples of that. When we heard he was coming into wrestling, oh, this is going to be the shit.
I literally never heard of him until he was a WWE superstar.
I wish I
an
wish I
actor?
could say the same.
Is he an
But
actor?
No, he's a YouTube star. But another thing is, like, I will hate now. This what can happen during the match. We can probably see Jake Paul coming out and doing something.
Jake
No,
WWE has no interest in bringing in Jake Paul.
Yeah,
no.
because after what I remember the botch that he did at Crown Jewel that one year. Yeah.
By the
Uh,
way, I've been watching these videos. Apparently, Logan Paul is like got raided by the FBI recently, and he's very close to like being charged with some stuff.
but
They it's a lot of conspiracy theories going around. Like LA Knight said, he make his videos for 18-year-old girls.
No. Logan Paul literally got raided by the FBI last week.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that is a thing that happened. But until charges are
It's
pressed,
with it. What do you call it? The fake money, Bitcoin, whatever. It's one of those scams. Like it has something to do with that.
Oh,
see,
yeah, I see what you're talking about.
so like with some of these celebrities that come in, and I want to use good examples. Somebody like Bad Bunny.
Stephen Amell.
I miss
Oh,
Bad
number
Bunny.
one, Stephen Amell being in a wrestling ring and doing what he did, and then also but no, that is another good example because what he did looked good. And when he was doing Arrow at the time, I remember seeing him jump that barricade and just hop up onto the apron at SummerSlam with Cody, and I was just like, "That's the Green Arrow." That was because you
When
just
was
saw
this? When was
landed.
this?
And then you have like the Bad Bunnies,
Like,
who we just have celebrities now who come in, and whether they're there for a one-off or they're there for the long haul,
attacking.
like Logan Paul or something like that. At least these guys are coming in, going in the ring, training, and putting into work to the point that Logan Paul owns his own ring and is consistently like, I might not be a fan of the man Logan Paul is,
But he's
but
trained.
yeah, I at least have to give him the respect that he's at least putting, that these guys that are coming in now are putting in the work, and
But
you can't take that away. Unlike somebody like Travis Scott, who's just there essentially for a payday.
right. All he did was just punch Cody in the side of his
Who was
head.
the guy at the Rumble? They show him in the Unreal trailer. ISO Speed.
I show speed.
Dude, like he went out there and took a hellacious spear
Oh yeah.
from Braun Breaker, and it's like that wasn't the first time we saw him, but how they did it, he didn't need to do much to make Breaker look good. He just could have taken that spear a bit better and not gone stiff as a board when he took it.
Oh
But
yeah, bro. Like it's like he like just balled up into a ball like this, and then had his then
and
ball.
I also agree with this. Like if the people are going to come in and put in the work to earn the spot to be there, and not just go off natural athleticism. Something like originally when Pat McAfee first debuted in WWE, he was under the NXT brand.
Because that's
You
why
know?
their natural athleticism.
Yeah, and you see and Logan Paul, both Paul brothers are natural athletes. I'm not going to take that away from them. It's their personalities of who they are outside of it all that where I'm soured on it.
Okay,
And
I'm just say this. Most of y'all probably not. Sorry to cut you off, Ginger. Most of y'all probably not gonna agree with me on this, but Pat McAfee did good in that match with Gunther. He lasted. He put on a fight. He tried his best. He stayed.
But
He stayed
yeah,
in. But like he lasted a long time in that match, more than how other people have done.
His match with Adam Cole was amazing.
Yeah,
Yes.
like I tell people about that. I'm like, you want to see a match from the COVID era? Adam Cole and Pat McAfee. It'll give you, and even the Gunther match. Pat McAfee. That was a throwaway match to build heat on Gunther and allow Pat McAfee to have a moment that he has rightfully earned, and also be put in his place as an announcer. Like there were other layers to that story. A lot of people are just like, oh, they're just throwing him. Like, no, he got caught talking trash. He got confronted on it, and then when Gunther went after Michael Cole, he stood up for his friend. And
Yes.
that's exactly what it was. That was the story around it. It didn't need to be a championship match because he didn't even have the title yet
And for
back
another
yet.
story, it was very well crafted.
And
Yeah,
I'm gonna just say this. I hate Gunther like I hate Gunther. Like I don't
I
like
love
Gunther at
Gunther.
all.
There's the man.
Real quick, BJ, Jelly Roll Orton or McIntyre Paul?
Oh, I mean, my heart wants Paul and McIntyre, but yeah, no, it's going to be a feel good moment for the universe.
All right.
Randy Orton. I got Randy Orton. Yeah.
Let me get to where I need to be here. All right. Um, there we go. Next on the list, we have 4 more matches to go. CM Punk versus Gunther for the World
CM Punk.
Championship.
I love CM Punk. I have loved CM Punk ever since I started wrestling. He was actually the first ever men's wrestler that I liked it. I love CM Punk. Yes, CM Punk.
You're not the only one. I've been a CM Punk from the beginning. Now, this is where stories can get very interesting because we could see Seth and not necessarily cash in. All you have to do is have his music hit and him come out, Punk get distracted, and Gunther take advantage of it. That's
Yeah,
all you need. He never actually.
Jay
But I
cutscene.
don't. But another thing is, I don't see Gunther holding the world title twice, and he had a good run for the first. He had a he had a good run for the first time he won the world title. But him is just like they're taking advantage of Gunther. Like
No,
y'all
they're
are
not.
overusing this man.
No, they're not. Not at all. They have Gunther in the perfect position at the moment to be doing what he's doing because he is something that not many people in pro wrestling are today. He's a legit worker. He
Yes, like
doesn't do the he
I
doesn't
understand
do
that.
the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
flashy
yeah.
moves. And
Not
you
only that,
look at him, the impact of just his chops, his impact of his chops alone, he could get a pinfall off somebody and it would be believable.
let me
But I'm
expand
a
a little bit. He's not only all of that, it sums up to him being that no nonsense heel who speaks with his ability in the ring, which is something that we rarely get. We can get a guy who can talk his ass off and then, like, put on a half decent
Now,
match.
you want to talk of a dream match that now can never happen, but Matt, you put Gunther in the 80s. Gunther could be somebody who would legitimately beat Hulk Hogan and forced Hogan to work his way back to the championship and
Like a
conquer
Nikolai
him at
Volkov,
WrestleMania. Huh?
like a Nikolai Volkov kind of.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah,
and that's something that is, and I'll say this all the time, and I miss it. When WWF say we go to Canada, right? And every American wrestler, unless they were that over, would get booed. And then you'd have Bret Hart and the Hart Foundation come out, and you would think they were the most beloved guys in all of wrestling.
PCO
okay.
would be top.
Yeah. So there is something that is drastically missing, and Gunther fills that void. And he's not wrestling every week because he doesn't need to.
Right.
All he needs to do is be out there, say what little he has to, have his confrontation with whoever, and be like, I will just take you out. I don't need to put my hands on you now. If you feel like you have to attack me, it's your funeral. You won't
Right.
get your title match because you won't be able to be there for it. And everything Gunther does is believable. And that is the biggest thing that has to happen in pro wrestling is if it's not believable when you're watching it, you can't invest. The fan can't get invested into it.
But just listen here though. Listen here though. Now, now, in my opinion, Braun Breaker and Gunther are the most powerful men on the roster right now. Now, I would love to see them go up against each other. It could
It'll
have
happen.
happened at SummerSlam, but I would
It,
love.
Give it
it'll
time. You don't want to rush these things and put these guys in a position where the fans lose faith in them when they lose. Because as
happen.
was said earlier by Marlo, the misconceptions of a guy losing and being buried. It
I'm
is
not
a
talking
it
about.
is
I'm
a
not talking about like right now. I'm talking about like give it time to like let them get like something. At least let them turn baby face or something like that. Like, give it like 2 years.
That would have to happen is Breaker would have to turn face on the Heyman crew and go out on his own. But we
or
don't
we
know.
get like the evolution style thing. Like when Jacob Fatu debuted. Ever since he's debuted, every time he's standing in front of somebody new, whether it's Gunther, whether it's Braun Breaker, whether it's Bronson Reed, I'm just like, I want this match and I can't wait for when these paths
Yeah.
cross. Like in the next 5 years,
Same with Reed.
yeah, in the next 5 years, what you're going to see at the main event of WrestleMania is going to be a Gunther Braun Breaker or a Gunther Jacob Fatu or a Jacob Fatu Bronson Reed, Jacob Fatu Braun Breaker. These are young talents who have the next decade in front of them to become what they're going to be meant to be.
Well, I know Reed's a little older. He's in his 30s already.
No, all right, but you know the way the business is built now. I remember in sports in the general purpose, guys in their early 30s were considered in their prime, but now
Right.
we turn around, and especially in pro wrestling and even other sports, we see guys now in their late 30s, early 40s performing as good, if not better, than these 20-year-olds.
And
Like
when you see someone who is in their 20s and performs like a Javon Evans or like a Randy
Leon Slater,
Randy Orton Jr. with the
Miles
NXT.
Bourne,
Yes, blanked on his name.
Randy
Like
Orton Jr. We're still a little bit of time off of Randy Orton Jr. All right, but no, it's just something to where if we aren't given the idea to be able to come up with these dream matches on our own to will them into existence by cheering for these guys, just like the idea that fans always supported R-Truth, now he's gotten, I say, double the support he had before. Or a guy like Karrion Kross, who we all of a sudden we start seeing him cut these amazing promos that are absolutely out of this world. And he just got his first win on Raw in how long? He got his first PLE match in how long? And the fans are 100% behind him. And he's one of the worst types of bad guys right now.
push cross signs almost every episode on television.
And we see the support. Push Karrion Kross. Justice for Carrie. We're seeing all these online things happening. And if WWE doesn't re-sign him, wherever he goes, whether it's to another major company or he decides to travel the indies, WWE is going to turn around and bring him back.
He did
But,
once.
but who do you have, Punk or Gunther?
This is so tough.
I got CM Punk. I don't like I don't see. That's another thing is I don't see Gunther holding on to the title for very much long. But I won't mind whoever wins. Like as long as they put on a banger match, I am a-okay. And I would be love to pull off with a surprise.
You
CM
know,
Punk wins the title. Hey,
my
it is what
only
it is.
my only issue would be is we've seen that title change hands 3 times now in this year already, and I don't want to see that. It takes when the title changes hands too much, regardless, unless it's top competition, and CM Punk is top competition. Don't get me wrong. I just don't see how a GTS is going to put down Gunther. I don't see how 3 GTSs back to back to back could put
Can
him
old man
down.
Punk get him up?
Huh?
Can old man Punk get him up?
That's what I'm saying. Like, and I honestly see somehow either Seth Rollins coming out as a distraction or the Bronze coming out and costing him the match. Just because.
At least Heyman.
Yeah. Or at worst, we see something, and everybody's right. This injury was a swerve so that he could cash in. Because that, just like we had the thought for Saturday night's main event, and I had the theory that if Goldberg wins, Seth Rollins cashes in. But now we do know the cash in was never planned to begin with because they had a cash in planned, and you don't want to do 2 cash ins on back to back shows the same weekend.
Right.
Which that would be historic, but you're kind of taking the air out of Naomi's cash in with the Rollins cash in.
Gunther,
yeah, I agree. Gunther retains.
but you got to look at like Punk with the belt would be a great story if Seth was healthy. Gunther with the belt, who's next? No pun intended. Who is stepping up? We're already done with Jay. We're already done with Punk. Roman.
I mean, I'm gonna just say this. I just want some new talent to just come in already. Like I understand, like I like the roster right now. It's an okay roster, but we just need more new talent.
Kenny Omega?
Kenny Omega, I wouldn't even mind that. Even
Kenny
even
Omega in
though
the WWE.
Never
even
happened.
though
Honestly, I'm going to say this right now, and I've started noticing this over the last couple months, and he was always top 3 over for me. But the most over person in professional wrestling right now isn't in the WWE, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Like when you watch AEW and you see him come out for a match or just for whatever in the ring, and you see him hit those ropes and just going out, pointing out to the crowd, and you hear the reaction, that man can make 1,000 people sound like 10,000 people just by doing that. Like,
And
you want
Joe Hendry's not too far behind.
who?
Joe Hendry's not too far behind.
No, he is another one, just like Jey Uso or Cody Rhodes. Their pops are absolutely amazing. Like, there's not much, like, being over like that, it's doing the right things at the right time and being in the right storylines to get the job done. And when the fans naturally get to that, it is something. But moving on now. All right, real quick. Do we see a Seth Rollins cash in?
No.
yes.
Heyman
But
showed
never mind. No, I don't see it. I just have to realize what I had said earlier.
Honestly, I think the cash in is going to be a swerve in the long run, and that he cashes in on Cena and doesn't allow Cena to take the title away because it fits the Seth Rollins ego of, oh, I saved the WWE Championship from becoming obscure.
And not only that might turn him face.
Yeah,
But you could twist that to still being a heel. It would just have to be done properly.
Oh yeah. Yeah, okay, I got it.
All right, so
and then another thing is, it would be a huge moment if he does cash out John Cena to get the win.
Oh, absolutely.
Because after Cena's last match, he has successfully completed his run.
No matter how it ends, it's going to be a lot of huge moments. Like we are in for a treat with like the next 6 months of wrestling.
I feel like this whole year so far has been a treat in many different ways.
I've never liked Cena, but he is going to provide some moments.
Yeah, and it's only a matter of time. So, moving on to the women's world championship triple threat. Naomi, who we just talked about, who cashed in her Money in the Bank to win the championship, taking on Rhea and Io in a triple threat match.
Okay. I'm gonna just say this. See, I would love to see Naomi retain because, like, as you've seen, Rhea Ripley has held the world title twice. Her first run was good. It was great, in my opinion. And then her second run was just so lackluster.
Whose run?
Rhea Ripley's.
See, I would disagree. It was lackluster only because it never really got a chance to get off his feet because she won the championship. We're like, oh, cool. she's going to be right where she belongs, right back in that top spot at WrestleMania, defending that championship.
No, I'm just saying, like,
And then we got somebody like Bianca Belair, who distracted Rhea, interfered in that match. Io should have never became champion. The referee should have disqualified and thrown the match out because of Bianca getting involved and pushing Rhea.
but it wasn't. No, it still doesn't make sense. Like, it's an unwritten rule. If one of the opponents put their hands on a manager or a person or a wrestler that's standing on the outside, if they get hit, if the person on the stand that's standing on the outside, if they get hit, they're allowed to hit back. But if they get entirely to the ring, hitting both of the wrestlers,
If a manager
that's disqualification.
if somebody who's not involved in the match lays their hands on somebody. Now, the unwritten rule you're talking about is if that person hops up on the apron and the competitor hits them. If the competitor hits them and they never make contact, they bring them in the ring, that's a completely different story. But that person still cannot technically retaliate without causing their person to be disqualified. And in the end, it is a referee's decision. Let's not get that wrong. It was the referee's call at that point. But when it comes down to this, BJ probably knows I want to pick Rhea. I feel like it might be too soon to pull the title off Naomi, and that might be Stephanie Bakir's at this point, because I kind of want to see an Io Rhea feud. Let's bring Rhea back to the dark side like she was with Judgment Day, but on her own.
Damage
But
control.
like, it's another thing is like the women's championships right now. Like, I don't like, they have some good designs and they have some good people that's competing for it. But we just need more women's championships.
Just real quick, I gotta give a shout out to somebody who hasn't been here in a while. Heel Mark, sorry to hear you are in the hospital. We are glad to see you,
bro.
I kind of know the story with it, but I am glad to see you here. I do hope all is good and things get straightened out and you can go home soon. And a question for Kelton from the chat: how old do you have to be to go to wrestling school in your state?
Right. Oh, right now.
Yeah.
So I started when I was at 10, and and now that I'm 14, I have been there for 4 years.
It gets younger and younger nowadays, man. But
Like,
by the time he's in his 20s, he's going to have damn near 10 years of experience between training and having matches.
and then, like,
he's old enough to have a match.
at my school, we like, you can sign up if you want to wrestle on a mat or in a ring. I signed up for both of them because, like, I love both of them. Like,
oh, it's through school.
So like,
real,
it's kind of like wrestling school. You miss half of your classes.
Oh, no way.
But I still complete some of my grades. I still pass my grades.
Hey, as long as you're doing what you got to do, then that's what matters.
Yeah.
But I think with this match, heel Mark, we did that for like the first 45 minutes of the show. But if you would like to say anything, I'm going to go quickly back over a couple things with Hogan before the show ends, after we finish our predictions. But we did have a really good conversation about Hulk Hogan. Rest in peace. Hulkamania will live forever. And that is the truth. I think I have Naomi in this match.
So, I'm amazing. I'm amazing.
That's reminding me of a theme song. I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, no, it's Naomi. That's an old song.
Yeah. So, who you guys got in this women's world title match?
I got Naomi. Naomi. I got Naomi.
Yeah. This Rhea and Io thing needs to continue aside, like without the belt in the picture. Naomi can go on and beef with Stephanie, and I'd be all about that. There it is.
So you're taking Naomi. All right.
I would love to see Io win, but...
So next on the docket is the WWE Women's Championship match. Now, I can already tell you who I'm picking, and I got Jade.
Yeah, Jade all day.
Jade Cargill. It ain't no way that Pissy Stratton is gonna go on. If she defeats Jade Cargill, I'm not gonna be mad, but like it's gonna be a surprise because all of us thought when Tiffany Stratton first came from NXT, I knew she'll win a title. I didn't know her just going on and holding the title for this long. That would be great, and she'll be the.
I mean, in all honesty, I felt like Jade and AEW should have gotten the Women's World Championship there. In all honesty.
In my opinion, I just want to see a lot of things happen right in the WWE right now. I would love to see another invasion, but with all the brands, AEW, TNA.
Never.
We'll never get.
If you really just think about it, I'm just saying I want it. I'm not saying it'll happen, but I just want it.
Yeah. I would love to see that, but I do see something similar to that happening with TNA at some point. I think we're going to see some type of Worlds Collide event again at some point, or some type of special PLE, maybe a YouTube show or something, or maybe even something to where the TNA app and they do a crossover where you can watch it on either or. Kind of like how they did the end of Nitro when they did the crossover for that last little bit of Nitro.
I know this is kind of going off track, but I would love to see if the TNA can kind of ties the scores and take one of the NXT titles with Santino.
I think it's going to happen.
They can have the speed title.
What's the point of taking both of their world titles? Come on now.
Because so here's what that does, as I spoke about earlier. When what they're doing is, so those titles being represented on NXT by WWE contracted superstars bring those championships and attention to the TNA brand off a bigger brand. So since this whole thing has begun, TNA's viewership has legitimately gone up. More eyes are on TNA now than have been in the last 10 years. And that's because of WWE's involvement with them. So when you're seeing these storylines cross over, so like Trick Williams, to pay attention to everything going on with him in the TNA championship, you need to pay attention to what's going on in TNA. So now the WWE viewers are now going over and crossing the line and watching TNA.
In comic book terms, you're an X-Men fan, and then the X-Men have this crossover event with the Avengers. Well, now you have to buy all the Avengers books because you can't miss any of the story. You know?
You're going to get lost.
Yeah.
So even though they recap certain things, what happens is it brings attention to a brand that wasn't getting that attention. So that's the overall thought. And also in other aspects, WWE is helping them produce their shows now. Those TNA stars get access to the Performance Center and their coaches, something TNA doesn't necessarily have. Not that they don't have the veterans to train and everything, but now they have other resources to go to. And it's a beautiful thing in the long run when you see where professional wrestling is now going, that we can have these crossovers. And it's something, let's be honest, it's something that AEW started with their Forbidden Door opening.
Contract with NJPW during the pandemic, yeah.
And with TNA. They had and Kenny Omega was the belt, even though TNA really didn't benefit from that, and AEW did, unlike what's happening with the WWE relationship. So just real quick, let's cover this. Let's talk about this last match, which we know will main event night 2 of SummerSlam for the undisputed WWE Championship. John Cena defending against the current King of the Ring, which, by the way, I didn't mention, Jade Cargill, also the current Queen of the Ring. That's how she earned her title shot. Same way Cody earned it through the King of the Ring tournament in a street fight for the WWE Championship. So, honestly, I hate this. I would love to see Cody get the title back, but I don't think he needs it at the moment. But I think this could lead. What I would love to see is a double turn in this match.
Not yet. Too soon.
But this would be one of the perfect opportunities to do it.
Cena needs to be a heel at least until November.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
Yep. Send him backstage real quick while he's gone.
But my
yes,
pick.
I agree. Hold on, just real quick in the chat. TNA has not officially been bought by WWE or TKO yet. We actually did speculate about this last week. And with WWE's current track history of everything that they've done, purchasing AAA and all that stuff, that's still its own company. I would love to see TNA maybe in the future fall under that umbrella, but still stay their own company and their own brand, because it just opens up the door, even if they stop doing the crossovers for a while, for eventually talent exchanges much more.
To my knowledge right now, it's just a business partnership. No ownership has changed hands. But yeah, John Cena. Yeah,
Cena sucks.
No. I think this is probably one of the first times I've ever confidently picked John Cena to win a match, and
just like Archive said in the chat, our heart says Cody because that's what we want to see, because it's still a feel good story. And
Cody.
I mean, all right, most us fans do, because of the story. But as we have also said, after he won the title at WrestleMania 40, that was the peak of him finishing the story, and now it was what's going to happen. Because I will say this, even lack of story during his championship reign, he had one of the better championship reigns that doesn't involve Roman.
Well,
like the best story he had through all that was with KO before dropping the title to Cena at WrestleMania. I will confidently say that, but at the same time, Cody did everything that he was supposed to. He didn't need to be involved. The title doesn't always have to be involved in a major storyline. Every one of those title defenses were great matches up until WrestleMania 41. And even then, I will say that match was purposely done the way it was, because Cena's goal is to ruin wrestling for all of us, because the fans never had faith in him. So first shot fired, ruin the main event of WrestleMania and leave a sour taste in everybody's mouth.
That main event of WrestleMania was just not good. It wasn't. The match was so, like, I was expecting it to be
the match was what it needed to be.
Yeah.
It's Cena, who had not won a singles match in over 2 years. Let's put that into perspective. That man did not win a singles match in over 2 years. Every match he had with somebody, he put over. So now he turned heel and he realized everybody's leagues ahead of me now. He did what a heel does. He cheated to win and ruined the main event of WrestleMania and tore the hearts out of all the fans who supported Cody and did not want to see him with that championship. He did, like, when it comes down to it, he did exactly what he said he was going to do. And he has continued doing that.
It's time for heel Cody. And I think maybe by December we could get that. I think we stay serious on this match.
And even at that point, I could see them holding off the Cody heel turn till after WrestleMania. Because it all depends. Because right now, if I'm looking at how things might track, and we'll say Cody somehow gets back the title, right? I have a feeling one of the first people in line for that big match will be Randy Orton.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And if you're going to do that match, that's not a face versus face match. That is a heel Randy Orton versus a face Cody Rhodes match.
Yeah, that's how it would work best, but I wouldn't be against a heel Cody Rhodes versus face.
No, neither would I, but I just think that's how it works best. And then from there, all of a sudden now you start getting the idea of the tease of the fans turning on him. Well,
Have you-
heel Mark. I mean, Cena already broke up with all of us. So if you go back to him, man, that's on you.
Hey, man, I am that ex who won't take no for an answer, okay? Even though when I was with Cena, I wasn't really into it. But now that it's gone, I want it.
Right? Boy, and that's why you gotta love pro wrestling. But real quick now, since we got that all out of the way, in regards to SummerSlam and the BJ and DG Talk Wrestling YouTube channel, for night 1 and night 2 of SummerSlam, we will be doing live watch-alongs right here. We may also be doing it on Twitch if we can get everything situated and set up on time. That's kind of on me. But if not, we will be expanding our show soon to simulcast here and on Twitch as well. So there are plans for that in the future. We stay tuned for updates to that. As we have updates, we will release them either here on the show or in shorts. And just real quick, since we were talking about Hulk Hogan earlier, we did have some more stuff said in the chat as I'm going through stuff to bring back up the graphic here as I talk about it. Cena turning, I do agree. The way they did the Cena heel turn was perfect.
Yes.
I just wish The Rock wasn't involved because of just we never got, and I only say that because we never got payoff with The Rock being involved.
Now,
The
first,
Rock, we haven't even seen The Rock in such a long time, so it really doesn't make sense.
in retrospect, yeah, like there was no need for him to be involved, but
So,
planting the seeds for some kind of future involvement.
there's just a lot of other things that played into that as well, and I just don't see a point why Cena was or why The Rock was involved if there was no payoff to it.
Because he can do what he wants.
Yeah,
I want to
pretty
be
much.
involved.
But yeah, so heel Mark here in the chat talking about Hogan. My introduction into wrestling was Hulk Hogan. I remember walking into the living room at 10 years old, seeing him on TV, asking my dad, what is he watching? He told me wrestling, and I was mesmerized. And then when I was 10 years old, my dad took me to my very first wrestling show. His dad ran up to every single limo trying to get an autograph for him. That was February in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Oh my God.
And that Hogan was his hero throughout his childhood. Long live Hulkamania.
Thank you so much, Neil Mark.
Yes, thank you. Again, wow, we have close to a 3-hour show this week. The Hogan talk kind of overran the first hour. We didn't get to cover everything this week, but it was a great week of wrestling. There were great matches. And we have one more segment to do. And I'll do some quick plugs and then get us out of here. And as always, our match of the week. BJ, what was your match of the week?
Taking it back to Sunday night, right after we ended our stream, and we were still in the house watching TNA, and we saw one of the best 4-way tag team ladder matches I've ever experienced in my life, and the winners were the ladder match kings, the Hardys. But what an amazing match! The Hardys. The name is Top Flight, and help me out here.
Okay, High Class, the Hardy Boys,
First Class.
Nick Nemeth and his brother, and
Good old.
that's 4 teams.
All right.
Right.
AJ Top Dollar, the Hardys,
Rascals. The Rascals.
The Rascals. That's and there was the injury, so it was Trey and some other guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, without a doubt, I saw a lot of good wrestling this week, but that was the one that popped me.
My match of the week is also from Slammiversary, and it is the X Division Championship match with Leon Slater defeating Moose to become the new champions.
Yeah. Another amazing match. With a little DJ afterwards.
Yeah. We have a quick question in the chat I would I guess we could talk about real quick from heel Mark. Do you think we will ever see Kevin Owens competing in the ring again? I certainly hope so. Time will tell. Neck injuries can be very iffy, but lately we've seen more guys come back from it. At worst, he just might have to change his style some.
So I compare this to Big E. And with Big E, it happened all at once, and we saw it happen. And it was a situation where it was like, there's hope, but they're not telling you that it's a possibility. With Kevin Owens, like, I haven't really heard anything to the contrary saying, like, he'll never be back. With Big E, it's like, oh, he may never be back. With KO, it's like, oh, he'll be back in a couple years. You know what I mean?
He also hasn't had the surgery yet. I do believe.
And it could be a different injury altogether. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on there. I don't know. I wish him the best. I hope that we can see Kevin Owens, even if it's not to the same level, even if he's not doing jumps off the field. You know what I mean? Like, I still really hope that that's not it for Kevin Steen, the person. And I'm not talking about the wrestling character Kevin Owens. I'm talking about Kevin Steen. I sincerely hope that this isn't the end, and he can grace us with his presence at some point in the future.
I agree.
Because not only does he have in-ring ability, I would listen to his podcast 24/7 if he had one. You know what I mean? He's that good talker, and I value his opinions and what he has to say above a lot of other WWE superstars.
Yeah.
He's real. He's very real. He tells it like it is. A lot like Bully Ray.
Yeah. Which is why a lot of people hate on Bully all the time because of his opinions. And they think he's a veteran of this sport, So it kind of is what it is,
He's been the champion in ECW, WWE.
One of the most decorated tag team wrestlers of all time. Former two-time TNA world champion, who he was also one of my favorite Hulk Hogan storylines. Was the whole thing with him, Bully, Aces and Eights, and everything. Just to call out another Hogan moment and story.
In the best, but week to week, I was in front of my television for TNA every week because of Hogan and Brooke Hogan and Bully Ray and
Aces and Eights.
It's just me. I lived for that for a short period of my life, and I forgot how involved with that he was. When I think of TNA Hogan, I think Immortal, and you know what I mean? I don't think 2013, 2014 when he was still there. But wow, yeah.
Yeah. So, real quick for everybody that lives in the Philly, New Jersey, Burlington County area, wherever you may live, and you live somewhere near here, check out the Pro Wrestling Star Academy. We are taking students today, limited spots, and learn from some of the best, like Johnny Cashmere, one half of the original Backseat Boys, our head trainer. We have the current SPO Silver Champion, Pat Dynamite, as one of our trainers.
Dynamite.
We have Robbie Illuminati as one of our trainers. One of the best talkers there is, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, yeah.
And we have Gabby Gilbert, who she's really good with a lot of those holds and catch can stuff. She was one of the ones training me this past week. So, you could reach out, and through this, I thought I had another graphic here for that. I guess not. And then, I showed the Buzzing with Marlowe stuff, the Wyatt Club, everybody who was on with us today to talk Hulk Hogan, everybody that watched and put their favorite moments and stuff in the chat. Thank you very much. And as I said, SummerSlam weekend, we will be doing live watch-alongs. So we might not have this normal show this next week.
This will be
Dude.
replaced by a live watch along, pretty much.
Yeah, our show will be a live watch along, and maybe we'll plan another show, maybe for Monday before Raw. We'll see. We gotta see how schedules work out and stuff like that. Monday's usually a day that I'm at the school doing training stuff, so
There is a show we've been talking about doing. We might have to bang that out before.
I think we do that after SummerSlam.
Oh, definitely after SummerSlam, but before you guys go to the gathering.
Hey, look, and two of those trainers that Archives knows personally gives vouch. There's a lot you can learn at the Pro Wrestling Star Academy. It's just not wrestling. We will teach you how to be a referee. You will learn how to be a manager. You can learn doing pro wrestling graphic designs, match graphics, stuff like that. Or if you want to be cameraman, production, wherever. So if you don't necessarily fit and being able to compete in the ring, we have other things to teach you that will keep you involved in this wonderful industry that is professional wrestling. So if your dreams to be a part of it, please check us out.
Also, I'm sorry to interrupt, but so we've been talking for a couple of weeks about how Tommy got hurt, and to go ahead to Pro Wrestling Tees and buy the merch, help him out.
Just real quick, let me play this. There are 2 QR codes on here. Left one, I believe, is you'll see when I put it up.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are, 'cause when you wish upon a star, your dreams come true.
So you could just that's buttered stuff.
But what I was getting at, that is included. But what I was getting at is JP's out there without a partner, man, and he's looking for bookings.
Yeah, JP Grayson, the other half of the Backseat Boys. Any wrestling promoters that may see this or hear this, he is currently taking singles bookings. So if you see this, reach out to him. He is a great singles wrestler as well as tag team wrestler.
Next week, we should put up his singles match footage for our break again. Oh wait, next week.
You can contact him through Facebook, Justin Parker, or on Instagram at JP Grayson. So any promoters that may see this, or anybody that knows any promoters, spread the word. Let's get JP Grayson booked everywhere we can.
Great dude, solid worker. You're doing yourself a disservice if he's not on your card.
I absolutely agree with that. Otherwise, everybody, if you didn't join us, I will just say this. Rick Blade is seriously disappointed in you if you did not join us this week.
I'm sorry, Rick. It won't happen again.
and then there's Cena just.
No, I have to point this out every couple of times
because it's all part of him ruining pro wrestling gimmick.
I have to point this out every couple of times, right? The guy holding the shirt, he's looking up at the Jumbotron, and he's like, "I did it! I finally did it!"
Oh, yeah, he is the happiest man. He is the happiest man in the world at that point.
And his friend is looking up at the Titantron saying, "He finally did it."
Yeah.
There's so much happening in this picture, even though you got like 4 human faces.
Yeah. But everybody, I know we had a longer show than usual. Thank you for sticking with us for all of this. And we will see you Saturday night. What time Saturday night? I guess we'll post.
Schedule that. Yeah, we'll figure that out. We'll release some shorts over the course of the week.
Yeah, it will be promoted.
Before we go, though, I just want to say something. You got to train hard. You got to say your prayers. You got to take your vitamins. Okay?
And I guess from my side, since he said that, I'll say this. Tradition sucks. And once you're NWO for life. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, be good to each other out there. Enjoy your pro wrestling. Don't play into the tribalism. Go do some good deeds. And we will see you Saturday night for night 1 of SummerSlam. And until then, over this way, that's BG or BJ. I can't even say our initials right. It's 4 letters. And I'm not usually the one that messes it up. I'm DG, Danger Ginger. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Share with your friends. Like our videos. Do all that great stuff. Help the algorithm out. Help spread the word.
Make us smile.
Yeah. And next week, night 1 of SummerSlam, you will see us right here doing our live watch-along play-by-play of the action.
I'll be over there, but close enough.
Yeah. So, until then, like I said, everybody be good to each other. Do some good in the world. We desperately need it. And we will see you for another breathtaking episode of BJ and DG Talk Wrestling. Now, let's get the hell out of here.
Everybody watching, I'm going to need you to visit www.freakkings.com. Check out all the merch. And before you do that, I'm going to need you to check out BJDG YouTube and Instagram. And while you're doing that, you won't have to remember the name, because you'll remember the face.